Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Honeyflow Talk Show. It's been an amazing couple years, you guys. Past 3 years, over 200 streamers I've interviewed, and all across the world globally. It's been such an interesting ride and journey. So, salute to everyone that's come on my show, everyone that's taken a chance to come here and just have a great conversation and get to know, the streamers, not just their accolades and what they do, but kind of, what they believe in, some of their trials, and some of the things that they've gone through. So I'm really excited for the next guest because this is going to be definitely an interesting conversation. He's actually a preacher and a DJ. I know he has done a lot of gospel music, but he mixes it up and does a lot of remixes. He's really brilliant at what he does. He's from Detroit, and it's going to be very interesting to hear his journey and his experience, which, I kind of want to dig into a little bit more. So if you guys have any questions too, drop them in the chat. And it's Djtheforce. So we're definitely going to bring him in. We got DJ Hams in the building. I see a few people coming in. Mrs. Sexy E, good to see you. We got Cyrus as well. I see you, and everyone else coming through. Thank you for joining the show. And again, welcome YouTube and Facebook as well. Make sure you guys make your way to twitch.tv/DJ Honeyflow. You'll see more of the chat and more people coming in as the show goes on. But welcome YouTube and Facebook. And of course, Twitch is totally free. It's a streaming app as well. We got Boss Lady coming in too. And you'll see more of the community in the chat here than on Facebook or YouTube. It's interesting with YouTube and Facebook. It feels like it's quiet. Like it feels like no one's watching. But then when I, fly back home or go to different cities, they're like, "Hey, we watch your show on Facebook." So it would be nice to see some people respond on Facebook, drop a comment, let me know you've watched my show or you're watching it. And same with YouTube. You guys are quiet over there. So definitely drop a message for me too. All right, let's bring in Djtheforce from Detroit. Hello.
Hello there. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
My joke is always fair to partly cloudy with a few overcast.
Oh, man. Wow. So I'm curious too. Are you originally from Detroit as well?
Yes, born and raised.
Oh, okay. Nice. What would you say about Detroit? Like, for anyone that doesn't really know what Detroit has to offer, what would you say to someone across the world about your city?
Don't let the bad press fool you. We are a city that's coming up. We have a lot of activities that different ages can participate in. It's to me, it's not really a city. It's like an urban area with a bunch of suburbs, because a lot of our city is homes and a lot of major cities don't have that. So we have our little downtown hub and then a bunch of homes, and it just feels like you're living in the suburbs.
Okay, nice. I think I've been to Southfield. Are you near Southfield?
It is 2 miles north of me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've definitely been out there. I'm trying to think. The Fox Theater. I think we passed through the casino as well.
Yep.
Yeah, it seemed really,
So
really. Oh, we heard lots of stories, crazy stories
yes,
in
the
Detroit.
freeway that you took from Southfield to the casino, I live right off of that freeway.
Oh, wow. Okay, nice. Do you feel like are people moving back, or because I know during I think the recession, when was it? Was it 2008 or 11, guys? I heard 1 million people moved from Detroit and went to Atlanta. That's crazy.
Yep. People are moving into Detroit. I'll tell you one thing that I've heard they're doing. So we have people that live in like the California region.
Hmm.
They're actually getting themselves pre-approved for homes there, and then move to Detroit because the cost of a home is 1/3 their cost that's in California. So they can get a $300,000 approval, bring it to Detroit, and almost get a mansion.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I heard homes were like a dollar, like way back in the day, like back in the day when people left. I mean, I'm sure they're not like that now, but like very, very cheap, the real estate. Actually, one fun fact about Detroit too is I heard you guys would have been built up like a Chicago. I can't remember what stopped that, but years ago, your city was like the fastest growing or moving city in all of the states, which I found interesting because it seems so much smaller to me. But I was reading up on that, that they said that that would have been built up like a Chicago.
Yep, it is the automotive industry that got us to build up and got us to slow down at the same time. So probably the biggest issue we have here in Detroit is that we do not have a mass transit system.
Hmm.
That was done on purpose because this is the automotive hub of the world. So they didn't want Michiganders, especially Detroiters, using mass transit. They wanted us to have automobiles. So
Oh,
that
wow.
really slowed us down.
Okay, interesting. Isn't JB right? Aren't you from Michigan as well?
She's
How you
my
doing, JB right?
sister.
What? But your
Yes,
real sister?
she is my sister-in-law. She is Miss Sexy E, who's my wife. She's her sister.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. I did not know that.
Hmm.
Wow. Yeah, we love JB Wright for sure. It's great seeing you. Wow, what a small world. That's crazy.
Yes,
Wow.
and I have under me Club Forest. That is the hub of Club Forest. Miss Sexy E, JB Wright 77, and myself.
Wow. And she's first ladies in the room as well. Oh, is she related to you? She's first lady?
She is. We spend a lot of time together. We're not related. We need to be, but we're not related.
Exactly.
She is.
Well,
She's DJ T Rail's husband, a wife. I'm sorry,
yes.
wife, and we actually spend a lot of time together because we like to do married couple things.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you don't wanna say that she's, his husband. You don't
No,
wanna say that.
well, it depends
She's
on the
first
day. I'm
lady.
just kidding.
She's first lady. I've had her on my show. She's a character. She's a lot of fun.
Yes,
Yeah, definitely. And, so then she can relate, to, your wife, here, Mrs. Sexy E, because 'cause they're both first ladies, right? I guess, pretty much.
in a sense, yes. Miss
Yeah.
Sexy just hummed in the background, like, yeah, I don't want that title.
You don't have to be blood family. That's so true. I mean, we're all family, guys. Like, she's your sister
Like
from the same mister. That's pretty
that,
much what it
that's
is.
the statement I use. That is true.
It's
And we
true.
actually spent they spent the weekend here with us for Memorial Day.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Okay. Oh, nice. So you guys are pretty close by then.
Yes. And then just to give you an update, Boss Lady 31, she's my daughter.
Mhm.
Um, I don't
Yes,
see
we're
any.
all related. We're all fam.
Yes,
I agree. We're definitely I agree with you, JB Wright. We're all family. We're all related.
right. I as they come in, I'll tell you who's family, who's not. But a lot of family is integrated with us working. Yep.
Nice.
See,
The
it's the
the
Force
boss
family.
yeah, the Force
That's
family.
some people actually call us that, the Force family, because we come in force and we always stay together.
Oh, that's nice. That's good. So how long have you been on Twitch for then?
Since the pandemic. So I started in being on viewing on Twitch in July ish 2020 and started streaming around September-ish 2020.
Oh, okay. And then how did you come on Twitch too? Was it the same thing like Facebook, Instagram kicking you off?
No, actually, I had my own radio station for a while. So I had my own I was streaming there before the pandemic. On YouTube, I ran into Cleveland Terry, and I was following him for his DJ talks around gear and all the related stuff to DJing. And he actually recommended me to come on to Twitch, and I wouldn't have to deal with all the problems that people talk about with Facebook and YouTube.
Oh, okay, nice. So, like, did you get a chance to check out a lot of DJs before, or did you think,
Yes,
it's just a gamer's app?
it when I first, that's what I said, probably since July, I've actually networked with a lot of DJs before I even done my first stream.
Oh, okay. How you doing, Charmaine the villain? Good to see you. as well, and everyone coming through. Appreciate you guys. Okay. Oh, so that's interesting. And then were you DJing like all up until that point? Because I know a lot of guys I've interviewed, they came out of retirement, like they just stopped for years, and then Twitch is what actually brought back their passion and the pandemic, pretty much.
Actually, I stopped DJing when I was roughly 35-ish. I'm 56 now. So
Wow.
35-ish, I stopped DJing. And then I ran into Cyrus Brew Grissom, who's in the chat, and he heard that I was a lover of house music, and he basically pushed me and prodded me and pushed me and prodded me until I actually went back into DJing. And then he helped me to DJ on my first online radio station.
Oh, nice. Wow. Did it feel a little bit weird though, like stopping for a long time and then jumping back?
No, it did not, because I didn't have to haul all those crates and all that stuff to do simple things. So it actually felt great that I could, because I did build my music library over the years. I just didn't DJ. So taking the music that I had and actually mixing it, as opposed to previously, I just sit there and go, this would go good with that. This would go good with that. Now I really got to start doing it again. So it didn't, there was no nervousness. It was no nothing. It was just like I never left.
Okay. Oh, nice. So we're gonna bring it all the way back,
Okay.
from the beginning, start, and then we'll definitely get back on your Twitch show. But what, what inspired you in music, and how long ago was that as well? How you originally had got your passion for music when you were
It
young.
is my family. It was just musically orientated. I am the youngest of 6 boys and 1 girl. And my older brothers actually worked at Motown.
Hmm. Oh, wow.
So we would get like the demo records and all that, the white label records. We would have those, and that's what I would listen to. And that's what started motivating me to uh have a love for music. A couple of Motown artists stayed a couple of houses from me. Bobby Rogers of the Miracles and Wanda Rogers of the Marvelettes. They actually, like I said, they stayed 3 doors down from us. So they really exposed us to a lot of the Motown stuff, the different events, the little concerts. They always had the music going. So it was just a part of everyday life.
Oh, that's so cool. Sorry, guys. I don't know if you saw that. I tried muting myself. There is like a big bug, like the size of my head, going up and down my ring light and like up and down this whole interview. And I'm like, how am I going to kill this thing? So sorry, I was listening to you, but I'm just like, was a little freaked out because I don't like bugs at all. I saw this thing. I'm telling you guys, it was the size of it was the size of my head. This bug, it was this big. I think it was
Mm.
an ant. Sorry, it just kept going up, and that's why you see my eyeballs moving, like going up. I don't know if anyone noticed that, but yeah.
I actually
Anyway,
have an electric fly swatter for that.
oh, do you? So
Yes.
I muted
Matter of fact,
myself, and I
I
was like,
kid you not, I can reach for it right now.
ugh.
I have an
I'm such a
electric
city
fly
girl that
swatter.
I
All
like
I have to
freak
do
out. Oh my
is press
gosh, you
a
do have a
button,
fly
and
swatter.
then yes, press a button, and then they hit that, and they're electrified right on the spot.
I cannot believe you have a electric fly swatter. That is hilarious. Like you never know who's going to pull up what. I hope your wife doesn't use that on you when you get in trouble and go
No,
zzz, zzz. No.
no, she says she uses God on me. Like, God, sick him.
Jeez. I can't. Where did you get that electric fly swatter? So what? You go close to the
Amazon.
thing and you go zzz, and it just
Yep.
zaps. Yeah. Sorry, I
I
hate bugs.
generally
I'm
I
freaked
kind
out.
of let it sit to the side. That's what it was doing, sitting to the side. And when I see him land on it, I press a button, zap.
Like I feel a bit bad killing living things, but I'm sorry. This thing was huge, and I just kept crawling everywhere and in front of the camera too. I was afraid it
Mhm.
would crawl across it and then I'd start screaming. But anyways, okay, now I think I could concentrate. I think I have killed it. I don't know if it's dead or if it's going to pop up again. But anyways, um So that's interesting. Wow. Definitely your story. I'm losing my thoughts with this darn bug. First time on my show where a bug has actually appeared, you know, and it's not like a bot or a troll in the chat room. It's an actual bug. But anyways, okay. So we're gonna get back to this. So do you have any DJs that have inspired you to over the years that you look up to?
Yep. I have several DJs. Djtheforce, he's here in Detroit, or he was here in Detroit. He's now in Florida. He's actually the guy who taught me how the fine arts of DJing. One of my favorite DJs is the DJ Unique.
Oh
He
yeah.
is, yep, that's how I know DJ Hams, through him.
Oh,
Um, I am a Jazzy Jeff fan.
of course. Yeah.
I've learned to be a Scratch Bastard fan.
Hmm. Canada's always good, always good.
Yes. And I'll even add, just to understand how the music is and the DJing is in the family. Miss Sexy E and JB Wright 77's brother is also a DJ who happens to be Jazzy Jeff's mod on YouTube.
Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, all veterans in the game for sure. Yeah,
Yep.
Cyrus is like, oh, Canada. So that's true. A lot of amazing, talented DJs everywhere. How you doing, DJ Profit? Good to see you as well.
There's the man. He is the prophet, the priest, and the king when it comes to DJing. That is one of my favorites right there, DJ Profit.
DJ Profit. Wow. Yeah. So back in the day, do you still have like your pieces of equipment, and was your first equipment like Radio Shack equipment?
Realistic. Yes, my first equipment was Realistic. I don't have a majority of the new equipment, of the older equipment, with the exception of the two turntables. The first two turntables I ever bought, I still have those, and they're sitting in the next room. I don't use them. They're
Oh,
just
you don't
there
use them?
because of nostalgia, but they're still here.
You wanna ever sell them? You know, I heard some
Nope.
guys still using the tables from 35 years. They're still using their original tables.
If they are techniques,
Yeah,
they are tanks. They will work forever.
that's crazy. But do you think the new ones wouldn't? Like the way they're making them, they don't make them to last forever, right?
Yep, they still do. I haven't really touched newer turntables. I've been looking at them. They're still using the same build,
Mhm.
but to me, it's kind of the if you bought you the original techniques in 1979,
Wow.
the only reason you would want the newer techniques is because it has new features. That's it.
Mhm.
That's
I
right. They
feel like
last forever.
everything
You can
lasts.
just repair them, fix
Yeah.
them, you put the new tone arm on, put a new platter on, whatever you need to do.
So do you also use a controller, or do you stick more to the turntables?
I actually have controllers. I have a Pioneer SX2. I
Mhm.
have a Pioneer DDJ 400, a Pioneer DDJ Ergo, and a Pioneer and a Hercules Impulse 7.
Wow, he's got a lot of gear, guys. Let's find out. Let's find out where he lives. Well, we can't really do anything to a preacher, though. We can't really do anything to,
Well,
to get the gear. Get the gear.
one of the things behind that is that just about my whole family can DJ.
Oh, wow. That's
So
impressive.
yes, my concept or my thought is, if we ever go out to do mobile DJing, we can all go out and DJ and nobody has to go get equipment.
Okay. Oh, wow. So, has your wife ever been interested in learning how to DJ, or any of the ladies in your
She's
family?
streaming as Miss Sexy E streams. Yes.
Oh, okay. I can't remember if I saw her show maybe ages ago. I gotta check. I gotta double check that too, because I know it hasn't been regular. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
She has her own.
I think I've seen it, but I can't
I
remember
didn't
if they're
even
using
mention
a
her
cover.
equipment. I just mentioned my equipment.
Oh, wow. Ooh, she's got equipment. Look at that.
Yes.
So, who is the better DJ? That is the question. And the better cook in the
Better
family.
DJ. As far as technique, I'm the better DJ. As far as vibe, I would actually push towards Miss Sexy E.
Nice. So make sure you guys are adding the both of them, you guys. DJ
Mhm.
The Force and Sexy E as well. That's in the chat, both doing shows. That's awesome. And you guys are both supportive of each other, like not really competitive or anything like that.
We're competitively in sync. We do compete. She said we don't. We
Hmm.
do because we a lot of times we'll do raid trains and stuff together. So then the argument in the house is who's going to play this song.
Oh, okay. That's so
So
funny.
like we both got a raid train this Friday, for example. Well, give me the music first. I want to pull my songs, and then you know this stuff better than I do. You can use what's left.
Hmm. I love that though. How long have you guys been married for?
32 years.
32 years. Wow. Would you say that like you change as a person in marriage? Because I mean, from 30 years ago, would you say that you're constantly changing too? Oh, I think he's frozen. Uh-oh. Can you guys hear or see anything? He went frozen. Let's see. Maybe if you want to remove yourself and come back.
Right. I'm back.
Oh, let's see. He's frozen.
Hey, Miss Dent.
Okay, now we
Am I
can.
back?
Okay, you're back. I was like,
Back
oh, do you have
now.
like a question? The aisle 2 question, guys. So yeah, going back to that, I was just curious, like 32 years of marriage, that congratulations, because that's you don't really see that too much these days, but would you say you're constantly changing too from when you first got married and then up until this point?
Yes, the person that I married is not the person that sits next to me today, and the person that she married is not the person she sits next to today. That we are two totally different people now.
Wow. What would you say to people, like, especially when it comes to marriage, like just, you know, because there's just so many divorces and so many things falling apart. Oh, wow. Thank you, Tilt. I just missed that. I'm looking at another computer for the subscription. I appreciate you, our famous lurker on Twitch, Tilt. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And Junior, I see you coming through. Yeah. So just like for anyone that's just having a hard time, like with marriages and getting a divorce or just saying, forget it, I can't, I'm not going to continue anymore. Like, what would you say are the key ingredients to keep it going?
Keep everybody out your business.
That's a good, yeah.
The best advice I give to people is to work with and talk to the person that you are planning to marry or that you are married to, because they know what they're looking for in a spouse, just like you know what you're looking for in a spouse. And if you haven't had that conversation to say, this is what I'm looking for, then you have messed up the whole relationship. Don't go out there trying to let people tell you how a wife is supposed to be and how a husband is supposed to be, because the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with knows what they're looking for.
What would you say to the singles that, and I know we're kind of getting into this a little bit too soon, but I'm curious. Oh, thanks a lot, Boss Lady, for those bits. Appreciate you. And Tilt again, close to a hype train. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Like, what would you say to singles? Because I was just looking prior to our show today. Sometimes I watch the Kendra G show. I don't know if you're familiar with that, the dating show. It's can be a little crazy. But people will pull out their long scrolls, like longer than these, longer than all my questions, guys. Look at all these questions, longer than that. Like in what they want in their future mate. What would you say to singles are like the key maybe character traits and what you should really be looking for? Because I think sometimes as you get older, you get like extremely picky and you just have a whole list of stuff compared to when you were younger. You may have been not really having a large list. You're just kind of forming into getting to know who you are, the other person, and you're forming into each other, right? Like together. What would you say to singles with those long lists?
Yeah, my daughter just said she's listening. This one's for her. I would say that you, and I'll kind of say it like this: when you're, as a human being, you have pretty much figured out what you want by the time you're 4 years old. Some people will do it by two. You just don't have the experience to develop it.
Mhm.
So vibe, find the person that you have vibe with. I'll be traditional. Your parents is going to be your first model. So I would say you want, as you're looking at your parents, whether you're looking at your dad for the woman or the mom for the men, you want to add and subtract based on how your mom is, because you ultimately are going to want somebody who treats you like your mother does.
But what happens if, because there's a lot of people these days that don't grow up with their parents. So maybe they didn't really have good role models,
And
but
that causes a lot of the problems that are out there, because that actually happens more often than not. You
mhm,
have to find that positive role model in your life that you're going to emulate. You're going to be attracted to somebody, auntie, cousin,
mm,
somebody, older sibling, and that's going to kind of be your guide for the rest of your life as far as who you're going to choose as a mate. You need to be able to add and subtract things that they do to say, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I'm not looking for. And I'll kind of say it like this, and I'm not saying it in a total negative light. One
mhm.
example was my parents had a kind of a rocky, abusive early relationship. In my mind, I went, I will never do that.
Mhm.
So that was a minus. And Miss Sexy E can tell you, in 32 years, there has never been any abuse in our relationship.
Wow, that's amazing. But I'm sure it took you a lot to kinda unlearn the things you've seen and then to learn, like I feel like it's so much harder for people coming from broken environments or dysfunctional ones or whatever, however they're raised, to, you have to work harder at, having a functional family, or it's like a mindset too, right? And to break the things that have happened to you, right? I
Break the
gotta just
generational
actually
curse.
plug in. I don't know what's going on with me, guys, between bugs crawling on my ring light to I gotta plug in my computer. I guess I forgot to plug it in. But what can you say to that? I'm gonna let you speak on that, and I'm gonna just be back in 2 seconds just to plug this in.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So you
Well,
could speak to them. Yeah.
I'll say this much to everybody: when you have to know the character that you are, the character that you have. Here is the strangest thing that I say that people really tilt their head at. Not everybody is intended to be married. So you have to have the spirit to be a spouse. Even the Bible says, uh, it's a good thing when a man findeth when man findeth a wife, he finds a good thing. It doesn't say when man findeth a beautiful woman. When man findeth uh 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 a woman who wants to be married. When you find a woman that has wife character and characteristics, that's a good thing. And the reverse is the same for the husband. You're not just looking for a man, and I have no filter, who's just good in the bed. You're not looking for a man who's just going to make money for you. You're going to look for a man who has the characters of a husband. That should be your goal. And if you don't have those characters to be a husband, don't try and be a husband, because you don't have the characteristics. If you don't have the characteristics of a wife, don't try and be a wife, because you don't have the characteristics. That is the most important thing that I think was not communicated to us. Everybody runs around and tell you, "Oh, you should be married. Oh, you should do this, you should do that." But it's not always meant for everybody to do everything. That's why we are individuals and not a group.
Sorry about that. I'm gonna have to catch the replay because I know he's got some really good gems, you guys. Shoot, yeah, couldn't get my battery working. It's working now. Oh boy. How you doing, Candle Lady? Good to see you. And everyone else. Yeah, she's First Lady says preach. And Junior is throwing up some fire emotes. We got Clarky in the building as well. If you guys have any questions for him, definitely drop it in the chat for him as well. So, I find it interesting that you are actually are you a practicing preacher right now
Yes.
along with as a DJ?
Yes.
Wow. So that just really, really interests me. Because yeah, it's definitely interesting. I'm definitely faith-based too, and what I believe as well. So I find it really interesting that you're kind of balancing out them both. Like, did you ever have opposition doing that? Like, because people tend to put you in a box, right?
Yep. It's a constant thing. I'll ask the question and then I'll expand on the box that they put us in. My question that I would ask, especially with being faith-based, would you like somebody to be over your music who's worldly and does any old thing, or would you like to have somebody over your music who's guided by God? Now, if that right there kind of changes how your music is played. We have God-given talents, God-given abilities. We have things that we do learn naturally. We don't serve a God who will give you a skill or a talent or a gift and then tell you not to use it.
All right. But then, me and you both know that we're in a very, very secular industry, entertainment,
Yes.
right? There's a lot of craziness that we're even seeing coming out in entertainment, which is disheartening to me. It really is, especially because I'm such like so against human trafficking, and just that's a passion to want to serve in that area. And it was interesting too, going back to interviewing someone that's been fighting against human trafficking for 30 years. He's like, I hate to tell you, but almost every hip hop artist that you listen to, I told him not to say it on my show, but we had private conversations. And he's like, I hate to tell you, but every artist you're listening to is pretty much involved with that. And he had very specific names. And it's like you'd be blown away. You'd be like, no, 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 that's not true, right? So doesn't it feel a bit not hypocritical, but people looking on the outside as to what we do as being DJs, but also, being, for example, you're a preacher, or me sharing my faith to others. I get a lot of heat being in this kind of secular industry, especially doing my show, but they haven't seen everything that's happened on my show and the amount of people passing away, or the amount of people we've also touched, right? So how do you kind of balance all of that? Yeah.
Honestly, I read the Bible. And I'll say it like this. You said it earlier. The church community wants to put you in a box. God wants you to go out and win souls. How can you win souls in a box? You have to be able to go where the people are to introduce them to God where they may not have known them before. And if you don't go into their area, you can't minister to them.
But then how are you, because we're supposed to be the light of the world, but not act like everyone else. We're supposed to be peculiar people, right? Different from the world. So then how are you really winning anything if you're just pretty much like everyone else out there, That's a question I struggle with. That's why I'm asking you.
Because of the person that you are, with the person of the faith base that you have, you are going to approach the same situation from a godly view. And let me give you an example of what I mean by that. But being a DJ, I don't typically use the version that has the swear words in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to make me stand out. That's going to make me look a little different. Um, that's just like one example of that. Um, how you conduct yourself at the event is another way. And I'll kind of say it like this. Last year I was DJing for a wedding. And when I said the wedding, I don't mean the reception. I mean the wedding. They wanted to have some nice, good jazz playing while the guests were coming into the venue, while the bride and groom were getting their final things together. They selected me as that DJ because the DJ that they had for the reception was not, as I'm gonna say, as clean. So his search for music was not the same as mine. So I looked at more elegant at the wedding reception because I chose very select music. I did very special edits, and I did stuff to say I don't want to give the wrong impression or the wrong communication to this people waiting to see a marriage. I want them to have music that speaks of love, that speaks of joy, and not the secular stuff that's out there. Meanwhile, the DJ that's doing the reception is in the reception area playing jazz, but he's not playing the same loving jazz that I was playing. He actually got upset about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Yeah,
So
it's tricky. You stand out
yes,
even if you try to not, even if you just try to blend in or just, but don't you feel that like, I don't know if you ever feel this way. I know I do, if I'm going to be honest, but don't you ever feel that like it's like the more you talk about your faith or the more that you try to kind of go that way, it's like the more unfollows you get, the more backlash, the more stuff, and you get at it from all sides. It's not just people that are listening to you that could be a little bit more secular. It's also a lot of people in the church too, throwing like a lot of boulders. So it's like you feel like you can't really win on either way, you know? I don't know.
they'll be all right. I'm not serving them. I'm serving God.
Hmm.
That's my response. And that's why I say I research it in the Bible. If I have issues with it, I look it up. I actually research it. The example I gave with the wedding, I actually used where Christ went to the wedding. He participated, but he didn't participate like everybody else. He was
Mhm.
still present. His light was shining in that wedding, but he wasn't out there, and I'll say it in modern terms, necessarily doing the hustle and drinking and swearing and all that. He was still a participant and even enhanced the wedding by his presence. That's the kind of way we should be responding as well.
For sure. But isn't there like a level of accountability? Like that's why I think people leave the secular scene altogether, right? Like because the more I think you draw closer and the more your heart changes, you no longer have the same taste for the things, right? That you used to love, right? And music, let's face it, even if we do the clean versions, we know what it stands for. Like even top 40 music is pretty like evil right now when you're watching the award shows, like even like when you look at someone like Sam Smith or someone that you would never ever consider, right? And
Mhm.
they're doing a lot of crazy stuff on stage now, right? So it almost feels like maybe you do need to leave. I don't know. Have you ever been at that point where you kind of felt like yeah,
There,
I think I need to kind of give this a break, especially being a preacher, or no?
there was a time that I did, and then I'll say it in the 1990s,
Mhm,
we gave up everything secular. And I'll be honest when I say it, it didn't feel right
hmm,
because you were in a box. And when you strayed, and I'll give a specific example. When you stray, when the church community feels you stray, they have a problem. And I'll give a perfect example. During that time, my brother had a birthday party at our home, or because when I say at our home, is that I'm still in the home that my parents purchased. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a generational home. So we had a birthday party at the home. I decided that I wanted to dance with my wife. I danced with my wife, and then I went upstairs and fell asleep. My pastor at that time had a fit. You shouldn't have been there. You should have not participated. You should not have been there. So you're saying I shouldn't have been home and I shouldn't have danced with my wife. What did I really do wrong? Then I went to bed. What did I
Hmm.
do wrong? And
Interesting.
that's kind of the stuff we have to deal with. And she, as first lady said, there is a balance. We're not trying to make the secular life equal with God. We're just saying that God did not put us here with these abilities, not for these abilities to be used. He gave us this stuff for a reason. It's our responsibility and our job, based on who we are as a person, our personality, to find our niche in the world that allows us to show God in everything that we do.
Yeah, for sure. But then people will say, well, how is that showing God? You playing your 90s music or you playing, I mean, I just had that recently and it hurt badly because I'm like, you don't know how many people I've lost. Like, I've lost 7 people on my show, guys, since 3 years ago, since it started. Like, people that were moderators, people that came through my show, and people I've interviewed. So when you have people that see certain things you do, but they don't see everything that you're doing, right? Or the people that have come through, the people you've touched, they're just kind of looking with like a stone to throw. And I mean, I'm sure some uh like say things because they're concerned about you, but I also look at how many people are you bringing in the church that are from entertainment? How many people do you bring in from different lifestyles that are stripping, that are playboys, that are everything that we see in this industry? How
Mm.
many times do you go on a Sunday and you see you have the heart for people and you're actually bringing them in? I'm sorry, in like 20 plus years, I haven't seen people bring in different people, right? So it's also made me question, maybe you can be in that bubble, right? Of perfection or that bubble of doing things right. But is your heart like actually for people? Like, do you actually care? And I agree with you. Like, I feel like there's a place for us in entertainment. It may not be as popular, right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
feel that every day. If I didn't talk about my faith, I'd probably be way further. But I don't want to compromise that, because that's who I am. But I feel like we just need to do like a better job. I don't know. What do you think with that? Like just kind of with the church too, or what you see?
Well, the church has a standard that I don't think is, and I'll say it, I don't think is godly, because they count your salvation and your membership, and your part of the body by numbers in a physical building. And they don't know that I go to this venue and a person sees me, sees the love of God in me, I minister to them, and then they're saved. They may not ever go through the doors of the physical building that I go to, but my job was completed. I actually did a stream a few weeks ago where a young teenager actually came into my kick stream looking for guidance. The stream stopped at that moment. We prayed for that person, and then we resumed our day, and he thanked me. He had some questions that he asked during the stream that I answered in between the music, and he actually told me I saved his life. That's more important than some deacon or some mother of the church telling me you shouldn't be playing that music.
Oh,
I
for
saved
sure.
a soul. And if my only goal in life was to save that one soul, my job is accomplished. And I did what God asked me to do. He put me in the position that he put me in to reach that person and save that person.
Hmm. That's so true. I was listening to what's her name? China. Is it China Doll or China? Her story, and
Hmm.
I think Lecrae was interviewing her. You guys gotta check it out, guy. Like I was up till 3 in the morning watching her interview, and I was just so touched by it. Lecrae having a conversation with her and just being like having a real conversation with her, right? And just like all the changes she's gone through. And I mean, so many people would definitely throw boulders like, oh well, is it
Hmm.
actually real? Or I mean, anyone can change, right? Like I don't care what you've done, like anyone can, definitely change in life. Um, like I mean, God loves each of us so much that he will keep reaching and reaching and reaching you, right? But yeah, I do. I guess I wanted to ask you those questions because I was really curious how you balance out faith. And have you ever had any incident where you got like kind of pushed out of a church or had people be like, what are you playing or how come you're playing? You know what I mean? Like get kind of
I've
upset.
been asked. I've been asked a question on what I was playing. I haven't been put out of a church. The one church that I joined as a youth is the same church I'm still with today. So it's not so much of me going from church to church. It's
Hmm.
more of me staying where I'm staying. And I'll kind of say it like this. Let me rephrase that. There has been people who have made statements to say you should just leave or you should just get out. You're not doing this right. And I looked at them as like, well, this is my church. This is like my home. How can you tell me to leave my house?
Hmm.
You cannot. And then we do have to realize at the end of the day, the church is not the brick and mortar that we go to. It's in here.
Hmm.
Once God puts you in there, no one can take you out.
Hmm.
I mean, that's my viewpoint on it. That's how I deal with situations. And I'll say it, just the other day, me and my pastor actually talked about it, that he felt that I was putting more emphasis into streaming than I was going to church because my participation or attendance in church was in question because um he had stuff he wanted me to do, but I wasn't present to do it. And when he talked to me about it, I looked at him and I said, the problem is not me being participating in the church. It's the way the church is functioning that stops me from coming to church. I committed to doing a task at a certain time every day. And this church doesn't care, and they have services whenever they want to have it. They're always late. They want to
Hmm.
come up with last minute meetings and last minute dinners and stuff, and expect you to change your schedule to actually accommodate what they want. I said, that's not how the church is supposed to run. If this was a job that's actually out in the world, they wouldn't say a word. They let me go to work.
Yeah, for sure.
So let me go to work.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
So
Mm.
I run across the opposition, but and I respond to it. If you can biblically show me where what I'm doing is wrong, I will listen. If you cannot, don't give me your opinion. Don't give me the tradition of how the church is run, on what people think. If it's not biblically based, don't come with me with that answer. And if it's biblically based, I can stop doing it.
Mhm. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, it's always good just chopping up with someone that, definitely shares the same faith. That's why I'm kind of going into these questions I don't normally go into, but wanted to ask you, um, you know, uh, if you or anyone in the chat room, how you doing, DJ Miss Classy? Great to see you.
Hey,
Been a
DJ
minute
Miss
seeing you.
Classy, I like DJ Prophet's response.
Let's post it. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, I can read this quickly. It said DJ Prophet says, God made you the way you are in order that you may reach those that may not be reached by any other means. There is definitely a place and balance for DJs like us. Let your life and your actions speak. People will always have something to say and will always be looking for something to tear you down. That's the distraction and working of the enemy. There is always someone waiting to take you down, then build you up. Whew.
That's true.
Wow. Oh my goodness, that was a word in itself. DJ Prophet.
Yes.
Got to have you on too. That was definitely a word. Wow. That is
That's
so
why I
true.
call him the prophet, the priest, and the king.
But do you ever feel like you're kind of alone in this process too, like balancing? Well, I mean, you have a wife, it seems like you have a good support system around you, but sometimes in this industry doing what you're doing and continuing to do it and maybe, we say that we don't compare, but social media is a huge self-comparison world, whether you like it or not. I think all of us can be guilty just a little bit of it, right? When you see other people flourishing or it's like the more ratchet things are, the more this is that, then it's like that's what gets ahead, right?
Hmm.
So does that ever become like discouraging a little bit to you where you're like, okay, I keep pushing, I keep trying to be consistent?
The flesh will always have some discouragement, but I do not, spiritually, I do not feel discouraged. I actually have, like you just said, a support system that really, really helps us move forward. If I were to ask the question, how many DJs in this chat are actually preachers? And I just asked it. If they're going to answer, you're going to see answers me, 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 me. And I'm going to say, these are the people that I hang around.
Hmm. Did you find them mostly on Twitch or was it also off of Twitch?
Found all of them on Twitch.
Oh wow, that's amazing. But everyone these days says they're a preacher, they're a first lady, they're a minister, they're this, like all these fancy titles I don't even know. I don't know. We don't say that as much, I feel, in Canada, but Canada's like entirely different from the States,
Yes.
in the way we kind of interpret and view things. So I think you can't really just hold someone, okay, they're a preacher, they're a minister. I think I did when I started online because I was a bit naive, but you
Mm-hmm.
really know people by their fruits, like what they produce. Like you know them over time, their character, their
Mm-hmm.
integrity, do they give love, joy, like the fruits of the spirit? Like, so for me, I don't even care if people have these fancy titles. Oh, hey, I'm a preacher. I don't know, a apostle or whatever you call a disciple of this or that. Like I hear it all, but
Right.
it's like, but then I also see a lot of crazy stuff online that's very contrary to that. So it got me a little confused. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, are you this way or are you kind of that way or which
Mm-hmm.
way which way are you going here? Because everything's so diluted in the church right now,
Yep. Well,
right?
I don't carry a title. And
Hmm.
I'll say it like this: the average person, when they find out that I'm a preacher, they go, "So you've been hiding this all this time?" And I'm
Hmm.
going, "No, I am who I am." And when you went into that area, you got my answer. But it's
Hmm.
not that I'm hiding it. I'm well, out here on Twitch, I'm Djtheforce, but I'm Harry Harvey III wherever I go. That's who I
Hmm.
am. And then I just want to say, if you look at the community that is supporting me right now, the average one of them on there are, I won't say, I would say all of them are believers.
Hmm.
So, and every time I say something, DJ Prophet says something, and that.
Let's see what Prophet said again. I'm gonna have to get you on, Prophet. Definitely, get in your brain with some questions. It says, I am one of them and I deal with this daily, but your focus is not on people. Your focus is on God and his purpose for you. Whew,
Exactly.
that's a word for me. And I don't throw my title out there. My life and actions should speak for me. Wow, that's
That's
true.
right. So I don't bring it up. And I'll say it like this: everybody has these titles. And
Hmm.
the reason why I say to DJ Prophet, he's a prophet, priest, and king, because that's biblically based. That's what a man is.
Hmm. Wow.
I'm not
Well,
giving
that's
him a
good.
title. I'm telling what God called him from Adam to the day.
Mhm. Hmm. Yeah, those were definitely good messages. If you guys have any questions, definitely drop them in the chat as well. So that's good. That's good that you know your mission and
Mhm.
and what you do. Going back to DJing, have you had a really memorable event? You've been doing this for a long time. Is there anything that stands out in your mind that was really memorable for you DJing out?
I got the DJ at the Barry Gordy Mansion, the founder of Hope Motown. That's
Wow.
that's probably, and I won't say, and I'll say celebrity wise, that's probably the best. But like I said, last year DJing that wedding reception, that to me spoke more volumes than anything I've ever done, because they wanted to use my God-given talent and they knew I would use it appropriately, and they had no questions to ask me. They's like, we don't, because my first thing I said to them is, you being a professional DJ, I'm like, your DJ is supposed to have all this included in your pricing, right? And he didn't give you a package for the, to have the audio equipment for the ceremony as well as the audio equipment for the reception. And they said, no, we had no intentions on asking him. We wanted him to play just what he's playing. We want you to play just what you're playing.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, those are the best gigs, when people really appreciate everything you do and allow you freedom to do what you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
I'll
Yeah.
add that you put DJ T-Rail's comment up. I won't say rat on him or tell on him, but I'll say it. He's a preacher also.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to be interviewing him soon too. And his
Mm-hmm.
first lady there. So he says, I always tell people, no matter the title, I still have a right as well, as to seek God myself, or to
Yes.
live right as well and seek God myself. Yeah. Because I think sometimes when you have a title, like, people just think you're automatically perfect. They're just like, oh, or they're like, oh, they think that they're too good. You know what I mean? I think when people are compared to you that are so different, or maybe you make the choice not to do certain things in life, right? They don't know your story. They don't know why you make the choices you do or you don't. But you do definitely get that a lot. Oh, she thinks she's too good, or oh, they're acting like they're so perfect. But I like what T-Rail said, because it's so true, that you're human. Like, everyone is flawed. Everyone has stuff to work on. There's not one human being that doesn't have any. And if they don't say that, then they're lying to you guys. Like, everyone in this chat has work to do, including myself, right?
Falsely.
And to allow people to live, kind of like what DJ T-Rail said, right?
Right. I'm a perfect mess, boss lady. You right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a perfect mess. That's so
You know,
true.
right. She
Like,
she she said I'm perfect. I'm a perfect mess.
yeah,
And
and she's first lady said, if people were perfect, we wouldn't need Christ. It's so
say
true.
that again.
How you
Yes.
doing, DJ Reggie Ward? Good to see you.
No,
T-Rail says, there's no perfect
Lord.
person on this earth. Yeah, except Jesus himself. So true.
Well,
Um,
I'm
yeah,
going to go down the road that I didn't plan on going down and say this to you, Miss Classy. I mean, not Miss Classy, DJ Honeyflow. Um, we have to realize that where we are right now in our life, where we are biblically in our life, God no longer wants to deal with us as a people. He wants to deal with us as an individual, because
mhm,
God realizes what works for you will not work for me.
hmm,
That's why I made the earlier statement that not everybody's supposed to be married. They can't handle it.
hmm.
Not everybody can, not every DJ can be saved and go into a sinful environment and still not be affected by it. Everybody can't do that, but God knows he has people who can do that, and he works with that person to say, I know I can send you into the lion's den, so to speak, and you will come walking right out with not a scar or a scratch.
Wow, that's true. But then, doesn't bad company corrupt eventually good character? Like, couldn't that eventually rub off on you a little bit? Where you're like, well, maybe that's not as bad anymore. The more different people and different things that you surround, and if you're constantly listening to music, right? Hip hop, R&B, whatever you're listening to, doesn't just get in here, it gets in here. Even Tupac said that. Even his own cousin said that was the demise of his own death, is because he kept saying, I'm going to die by the time I'm, what was it, 25? Like he kept saying it, saying it, saying it, even in lyrics. And his own cousin said, we have to be so cautious with our words and even the people you keep around you. Like, what do you think of that? Like,
So it's all about, again, who you are. I will never say when I'm going to die.
mhm,
I don't care. That's God's business. I got nothing to do with that. All I'm supposed to do is be down here and do what He asked me to do. Um, there are going to be moments where, yes, you may falter, you may get a little influence, but the question becomes, does that influence take over your life, or do you quickly recognize it and get rid of it? And I'll say it like this on a small scale. Before the pandemic, I gave up pop. Soda down south, pop up north. That's a joke. That's a joke in my stream. When COVID kicked in, the price of pop or soda was cheaper than the juices, than the water, than the all the other beverages they had out there. So then, for a moment, I slid into drinking pop. When I recognized that I shouldn't be drinking pop, I put it back down.
hmm,
So you're going to be influenced by the world and what's going on around you. But the question is, are you going to let it control you, or are you going to control it? I tell my streamers, don't let the world dictate to you. You dictate to the world. So you tell the world what you're going to expect out of the world, and allow your character to keep you where you're at.
mhm. Wow, I feel like you need to write a book. Have you written a book?
I
I'm not
have
even going to DJ questions with him. I'm just like, man, I could sit here all day and chop it up with him on this stuff. Have you
right.
ever thought about, have you written a book or thought
I
about
have
it?
not written a book. A
You
lot
need
of
to.
the knowledge I have gotten, I'll honestly say, I have learned in the last 10 years
Mhm,
by understanding that the Bible is not all written for me to do.
mhm,
Some of it's written for me to understand, so I know historically what happened. Some of it is to tell me what's going to happen, and there's a chunk that I'm in, that we're included in, that says, here's where I'm at right now, where I'm dealing with you individually. So once I began to understand what God had done with the Bible, and it's called rightly dividing the word, you actually began to see that God actually put a provision in there, because He knows I have this vice. He knows that I have this problem. So I'm going to give you a way to get around that problem and not follow I'll say it again, the box that the world wants to give you, because not everybody can fit in that box. I'm a fat kid. I can't fit in that box.
mhm. You're not fat. What are you talking about?
That's a joke I say.
I was like, "What? You're nowhere near that."
Right. That's a joke I say,
If you're
that
fat, then I need to go on a diet, guys. Like seriously, so because this is a Slim Jim guy over here.
right. But that's kind of the view that I just say that to say that, because that's the view I have. I'm not going to fit the mold that the church gave me, because
Mhm,
God has made my mold unique from everybody else in existence. I
mhm,
may have some similarities to other people. I may have some opinions similar to other people, but I am me. One thing I've said since I was a little kid: just because I sneeze, it does not mean I have a cold.
mhm, hmm.
And everybody, as soon as you sneeze, you got cooties. No, I got an allergy. No, you just blew dust in my face.
Or you got
That's what
COVID.
made me sneeze.
Yeah. So you don't
So
strike me as a people pleaser at all then. You don't strike me as that at all, which is
no,
great. I gotta learn from that. I'm like major people pleaser right here. I gotta
I,
work on that.
I am not a people pleaser,
Mhm.
though
That's
I am a people person.
awesome. Mhm.
meaning that I will help you, and I'll give you an example of how I am. I will not give you the shirt off my back, but if you like my shirt, I'll go to the store and buy you one that looks just like it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I'm not trying to make you feel better. And oh my goodness, my family's just going and
And
telling me
that's so
how I am.
cute. Boss lady's your daughter, right? Boss lady's like, Lord, he is not. And
She
then
is my youngest daughter.
aw, that's sweet. I like that. I love seeing families on shows because my family definitely doesn't come to my show, but like I love seeing families on shows. I think it definitely warms my heart. Mrs. Sexy E says, no, he is not. Um, and then Boss Lady, his daughter says, he gonna buy, I can't even do your accent. He gonna buy
He
your
gonna
own.
buy your
Oh my gosh,
own.
I sound so
I think he'll buy you your own.
trying to do like
I
accent.
mean, and
Yeah.
I'll say it, and here's what makes me sound mean, but then how I say I'm a people person. My family don't eat because I want to feed them. They eat because I'm hungry. And I feel if I'm hungry, I'm going to make enough food for everybody and not just make enough food for me.
Hmm. Mhm.
And anybody who's been to my house know when you come here to eat, boy, you'll eat. But
Oh,
I'm hungry, so I want something to eat.
yeah, for sure. Wow. So what could you say to someone like because the last couple years have been so crazy, even with us, like people have said that DJs should actually be essential workers, and no offense to any nurses or firefighters or cops or anyone that's really essential worker, right? But do you agree with that statement? I kind of actually do because during the pandemic, there was a lot of doctors. I remember doing a lovers rock show one night and some doctor and some nurses came through my room. They're all listening and they said, "Hey, Honeyflow, thanks for getting me through the ER tonight. Like it was really, really bad, really stressful, right?" Or flight attendants taking a flight, listening to your show. Like it's really incredible who's on Twitch and who's listening. That it made me think all of us streamers are essential workers in a way in
Mm-hmm.
bringing that light or positivity to people out there that needed it when everything was shut down. What do you think of that? Do you agree?
I totally agree that we are essential workers, and I'll give you a reverse thing. And a lot of I don't like talking about other people, so I'll talk
Mhm.
about me. That way, I don't offend nobody else. I'm sorry, my family's me, so they get included in that too. Um, but during the pandemic, I got so depressed. I got so confined. I have claustrophobia.
Mhm.
So when they locked us down, that was a major problem for me. So on my streams to relieve some of the tension, I used to get videos of people driving through Detroit and driving through Chicago and driving through Kansas City and driving through St. Louis and have it as my background just to make me feel that I was out in the open because I like to travel. So during the pandemic, I was really, really depressed that I could not get out and travel like I normally would. It's nothing for me to get in a car and drive to St. Louis for the weekend. And that's an 8-hour drive, 11-hour drive.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So that we were very essential because there were people who felt like that, and it's kind of the analogy I said that I'm hungry, so everybody eats. I felt claustrophobic, so I felt that other people may feel claustrophobic, and I gave them an environment that says, well, at least it feels like we open. It feels like we feel like we on the highway. It changed the way people viewed the stream, and it helped them to get through whatever they were going through.
Mhm. So true. Now what like makes you because you're also pumping a lot of positivity to other people in your music you play, some of the gospel music you play, like you're constantly giving that to other people. How what does it take for you to bring that back to yourself to get you uplifted and inspired as well, especially when you're pouring so much into other people?
Nobody's ever asked me that question, believe it or not. Um, I have to actually say it is the music that motivates me. If music was not in my life, I could not be able to give it back out the way I do. Because music to me has moods, and your mood can be expressed when you're for a DJ when you're playing. And when I say, and I'll say this is one of the beautiful things I loved about Twitch, where before the pandemic, if you were DJing events and you had your structured playlist, you had your structured order of service. I only want this song to play for this long. I only want to hear this. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear no remixes. I just want the original version, stuff like that. Excuse me. You come to Twitch and you can play your musical mood. I'm a mellow, laid back person.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm playing for me, I'm mellow and I'm laid back. If you ask me to do something different, I'll do something different, but I'm mellow and I'm laid back. So that's the thing that probably motivates me and keeps me going, is that I now can actually go out there and play my mood music. There will be times that I will hype it up because I'm in an exceptionally great mood. There are times that I need spiritual healing. I can actually play music to tailor or to feed that need so that I can become whole, and I mean physically. So that's the things that probably gets me motivated, is that God gave me music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
that's so true.
that music helps me deal with whatever I'm dealing with. I can cry to it if it's not something. If I'm in that mode and I play that type of music, I can get happy to it. If it's that type of music, it's just it's like the center of my life.
Mm-hmm. Has there been any shows where you've cried on?
Yes.
Yeah, same with me, definitely. Yeah.
There are certain songs that if I play, I'm going to cry.
Like,
But
what
I need
song
to hear
would
that
that
song.
be? What would those songs be to you? What
The
songs would
one
those be?
that comes to mind is "Missing You" with P Diddy, because it reminds me of my brother.
Hmm.
And the lyrics, we were as thick as thieves.
Mm-hmm.
One didn't go anywhere without the other. I comically say this, but people thought me and my brother was married to Miss Sexy E because we went everywhere together.
Yeah.
But we were so close that I didn't, if I was upset, I didn't have to tell him. I could just look at him and then have the full sentence or full conversation without a word. And at the best, he'll say, "It'll be okay. We'll get that taken care of."
Mm-hmm.
So when I play that song, I get emotional because he died not just before, he died in 2014.
Oh, wow.
And it's a lot of scenarios that I would go through, and then he would just come and catch me unknown. I wouldn't even tell him anything. He would just come catch me and tell me, "Hey, we can work this out. We've dealt with worse than this. We'll make it through. Don't worry about it." He's always been in my corner. So when I get those moments where I feel that I don't have any support and I play that song, it's going to flow. I'm
Mhm.
like inches from not crying right now.
Aw. Yeah, and that's okay too. It's really good, and I think it's very therapeutic, right? And
Mhm.
I mean, I've had a lot of men definitely cry on my show. Maybe they call me the Barbara Walters of Twitch, so I have a have a way of bringing it out a little bit, you know. But I really think it's great. Like, so many men I've interviewed that, like, even with yourself opening up your story, you know, because there's so many people that are hurting out there too. That's why I really appreciate everything you're saying today,
Mhm.
because I know it's for someone lurking or someone that is just listening, right? Um,
Yes.
yeah, so I really and you give an outlet, look for other men to open up too. You know, you actually remind me, now that I'm listening to you, kind of remind me a little bit. I mean, not in how you guys look or anything, but of DJ Mad Live, because he's such a good communicator. Like,
Mhm.
you know, I think he does like a Brothers Keeper show or trying to help
Mhm.
other men. And I could totally see you doing that. Like, have you ever thought of maybe just doing more of a podcast, not just DJing, but sitting down and talking?
We have talked about the podcast. Um, it's something that will be coming down the pipeline, and I'll kind of say it kind of like this. I kind of try and stay in my lane. And what I
Mm-hmm.
mean by staying in my lane, I'll allow you and people like yourself to do that as
Mm-hmm.
far as having podcasts and talk shows. And I'm happy to participate and chip in, but I don't want to take away from your thunder.
Yeah, nah. Trust me, I'm so over that. Trust me, I get unfollows every day. Like I'm so beyond that. I'm like, it doesn't take away from anyone's thunder. If anything, it enhances. Like, like I really appreciate this conversation. You have no idea. Like you're helping me today with some things, and normally I can't ask these questions with, uh, you know, the 200 people I've interviewed. I can't really go this direction. I can go, very few people I can actually talk to about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially about like God or faith or things that I could be struggling with. So, yeah, don't ever look at it like it's taking away from someone's thunder, because I feel like there could be a lot of DJs in the world, like there is, or singers or authors, right? But I'll give you this quick story. I went to North Carolina years ago. It's a very quick story. And I looked at all these women and I'm like, oh, frick, man, I haven't published a book. I haven't even spoken in front of an audience. And I got up there in a smaller room and tried sharing my story. And I was like completely bald. Like it was embarrassing that I walked out, and I never wanted to go back into the conference. I was mortified and embarrassed, right? But I pushed myself to go back into this conference, and I saw thousands of women. There must have been 1,000 women there. They're all publishers, authors. Some have worked with Oprah. Some of them have done all these grand things like 10 books, you name it, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't even push out 5 words without looking like a hot mess. So the speaker on stage looked at all of us and she's like, "You're probably comparing yourself." And even though you guys are networking, and it was a Christian event as well, right?
Okay.
But she's like, "I just want you to know that there is, you may all be speakers, you may all be this and that, and do all these grand things in the world. And you may self compare and look at everyone and think, oh man, that woman's more beautiful. That woman's published 10 books. That woman's a great speaker. Like, what do I have to offer? Or there's no space for me." So what she did is she made us talk to like at least 10 women in the room. And she's like, "I want you to ask what their vision is and what they want to do when it comes to publishing a book, or if they already have a book," right? So
Mm-hmm.
as I started talking to each woman, and there was 1,000 speakers, guys, and I was nowhere near any of that. And but as I was speaking to each woman, like one woman, she ended up getting like raped in college. So her passion, and she was like part of a beauty pageant, beautiful woman, and her goal was to help women that have been assaulted, right? Like she wanted to write a book, she wanted to touch women that were victims or different people in trafficking, that sort of thing. I talked to another woman. She had like a football player from the NFL, and she wanted to help other parents navigate through the whole NFL thing. But also, she was Christian too, like how to navigate, because it's a lot. You go from nothing to making millions, right? I talked to another one. They wanted to write books for children. Talked to another one. They wanted to go out in the world and like help people that were domestically abused. So what I'm saying is that the more people you talk to, the more you realize that it's like all these women were different lighthouses, like put in the world. All of them had assignments, but their assignment was to touch a certain amount of people, right? And then your assignment is to touch other people that I can't touch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I go back to this saying that even though, and we see this all the time in this industry, like, oh, I don't want to be on at this time because it takes away this person's shine, or I don't want to do this talk show because of this. But I definitely encourage you to do it because you're able to connect and touch people that say I wouldn't be able to do, right? Like God's got like a full audience of people for you that
Mm-hmm.
no one else can touch except you. So, and it's the same thing with me, right? and other people. Um, and it may only be like there's 24 amazing people that are lurking or on this chat, right? It may not be for millions of people, but it could be for the one person he wants to touch, right? So that's kind of my long story, that your comment just kind of brought me back to that moment, that there's a mission, like a life mission for all of us to do, right? And to help. And you have that gift. So I really hope that you start a talk show or like a podcast, or even if it's just speaking. Like, I really hope you do that. Yeah.
Speaking like preaching.
Yeah, pretty much.
I say it like that to say, when I say not steal your thunder, I go back to the point where I say God works with the individual. So he's given me 2 platforms minimum right now. I have a preaching audience and I have a music audience. So he's given me those areas to let me express it from that viewpoint. He has not really told me yet that he wants me to do that here. That's why I haven't done that. In the same breath, that's why we cross paths, because he needed me to reach a certain group of people that if I do it, meaning a talk show, they may never show up, but they'll show up for you. So he had you make me a guest to reach those people I couldn't reach. So I'm not saying it to the point that I wouldn't do it. But I recognize that God will give me my assignments, and as he gives them to me, I'll take them. And if I see that that assignment is being covered somewhere else and he confirms it, I don't go into that area.
Interesting. But sometimes I feel like it's not like this audible voice where he confirms. Sometimes it's just like you take the step and then another door opens, or he'll kind of tell you to move left or move right. But it's never this solid, like straight line, like, okay, I already know. Because I don't even know. I don't even think any of us know. Not even the biggest speakers know. They just took the step, you know? But
and I'll say today is a door that was open. So it's not in my thought process, but I'm looking for guidance to get it done. And when God says do it now, I'll do it now. No more different than when I came on to Twitch. I was just a viewer. One day God said, play music on Twitch now. You're going to touch people. So I respond that way. I'm not saying I won't do it. I'm saying it's not something I've been assigned to my knowledge as of yet.
Well, and definitely let me know if you do, because I'll fully support it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll probably be one of the first people I interview.
Oh, well, even maybe not interviewing. I'm just having you talk. I think just having a show with you don't even need a guest. I feel like you could literally sit there and just talk and share your knowledge on different things.
Well, and it probably can happen inside of the chat. A lot of this is being pulled out of me by you, not so much me volunteering the information. Like we said earlier, I'm an open book. I'll talk about whatever. I have no filter. But my mindset doesn't just say, oh, go out and talk about this. But you asked me the question, which opened the door to allow me to say something that I would have never thought to say myself.
So true. Yeah. DJ Prophet had a nice comment for you. Truly, you never know how many people you touch just by being you. I love that.
Hey, Crispy 313.
Crispy, how you doing? See, these people are here for you. So,
this is my community. This is my support. I will not kid you. This is what makes me help me be who I am, because these people come in, and when I feel that I'm not making a difference, it's these people that say you're making a difference. That's why I'm here. I could tell you the DJ T-Rail story if you want to hear it.
Sure. And one thing I was just going to say before we go into that, DJ, or sorry, I called you DJ Fukna for a second. He pretty much is a DJ. It says, so their pain and struggles fueled their passion. Yes, that is so true. It really did. I think sometimes trials and tribulations and what we go through really do fuel our pain and struggle. But that was a life lesson that I learned, that it's like, instead of comparing yourself with everyone and thinking that there's no space for you in the room, to actually realize that he's given us a purpose and God given assignments, that it doesn't matter if there's a million speakers, doesn't matter if there's a million better DJs than you, because there surely is, than me. Trust me, everyone knows my skill. But but there's still a place for you, right? And that's something I learned. I was blown away, that I was like, wow, no one is actually doing what I want to do or what I want to target. But there's a million speakers here. So that kind of gave me confidence and assurance, knowing that he can still use me and he still has like a wonderful plan, right? But the key is you got to figure out what your assignment is. We don't have a long time frame here. We have to, I feel an urgency to get to mine, right? But I feel like life is so short, and you know that as well, with the losses you've endured. Like, do you ever feel an urgency too with that? Like,
No.
No.
And the reason I say no is, for me, at the end of the day, God put me on this planet for a specific purpose. When that purpose is completed, that's when he'll call me home. So if he wants me to reach, I'm just going to give an astronomical number, 3 billion people. Until I reach those 3 billion people, I will be here. And if I stop at 2 billion, then he says, until you go to that other billion, you will be here.
But some people never, haven't you heard this quote? The richest place is the graveyard, because 80% of people's talents, dreams, and passions lie there. It's the 20% that decide to fulfill it here while they're on earth, but a good 80% never did. And you could kind of miss it though, and maybe it could be given to someone else. I don't know.
You may miss opportunities. You may miss special moments, if that's a good statement to say. But God already, he knows before you get here who you're going to touch and what you're going to do. So sometimes that hesitation is because you're not supposed to reach out to that person. And there are biblical examples that where God, for example, told the disciples during his earthly ministry, do not go to the way of the Gentiles, because he wasn't ready for them to hear the word. He assigned that to Paul. So when he gave it to Paul, Paul went and did it, but he told the rest of the disciples, don't do it. God does us like that. He will say to us, I don't want you to do this. I want you to touch certain people. And when you touch those certain people, then you will complete your task.
But sometimes you could run from the calling like Jonah, right? And be shoved in like a big, huge fish. I didn't realize it wasn't a whale, guys. It's a big fish.
Right. And God knew he was going to run, and he sent the fish to go cut him off.
Oh,
he already knew what was going to happen. He already cut him off. But the people that he didn't touch, well, and I'll say it like this. If the fish wouldn't have shown up, he wouldn't have touched nobody. But the fish showing up and changed his direction. So then he touched the people that God wanted him to touch.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I don't think there's fish big enough here in Canada, in Lake of Ontario, so I think I'm okay right now. I don't. There could be big fish in Detroit, though. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. So that it's just, and that's what I say. People don't really, and I kind of say this, and it's a morbid statement to say. I kind of say this at funerals. Funerals are the perfect example of what I'm saying. When a person dies, certain people will show up. It may be a small group. It may be a large group. It may be an intermediate group. But the reason that they are at that funeral is because that person influenced their life. If anybody else was laying in that coffin, you'd have a totally different group of people standing there.
Yeah, that's so true.
So I gave the astronomical number of 3 billion people. He may only want me to touch 1,000.
What happens if he only wants you touching one? You
He
know what I mean?
I have preached eulogies where the soul has touched one person. His job was done.
Hmm.
And
What's your
and I'm
denomination or your background? I'm curious, like what you would classify yourself.
I don't classify myself. So I
Mhm.
was raised in the Baptist church system,
Okay. Mhm.
but I am pushing away from that. And
Mhm.
I don't even call myself a Christian. I call
Mm.
myself a believer
Mhm.
because when I researched the term Christian, it was given to Jews and they use the word Christian like people use the N word today. That's where it was originally said, the way it was, oh, those Christians over there. So I'm like, and then the Jews embraced it and made it positive, yes, but they were talking to Jews. They weren't talking to Gentiles. So I'm not
Mhm.
a truly a Christian. I'm a believer. I believe in what Christ has done for me. So I try not to have the denomination. If I were to have a denomination, it would probably be a the gospel of the grace of God Bible church or something like that, because I believe that in the Bible there are multiple messages to different groups of people, and you have to recognize where you fall in that Bible. Most of us fall in one area, and the rest of it is just information for us to understand how we got in this predicament.
Mhm. Hmm. Interesting. That's a interesting. Yeah, definitely your thoughts for sure. Yeah. Wow.
Mhm.
You guys, this is going so fast. Ugh, I can't believe it. It's almost close to 9 too. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat too. Thanks for everyone listening. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, I know you were going back to T-Rail's story. I got to plug in one other thing here. I don't know what's going. This has never really happened on a show. Like, I think you guys saw me swatting that. I don't think I killed that bug. I need your your zapper. It was coming close to me. So earlier I was like that with my notepad. Anyways,
Mhm.
sorry. I don't know if you saw that. But you can go into T-Rail story. I'm gonna just I'm just going to quickly plug in this thing. Uh, and yeah, and you can let them know the story too. I'll be right back as well.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I don't know why things are not working as they should. So
It happens to the best of us.
it has
I've
not
never
happened in
had a
my talk
perfect
show
stream.
like this. I've never had that ever. More on a music show, but not on a talk show. Okay, so yeah, you go into the story. Hey, DJ Bass, I see you as well. And I'll be back in like 1 second, but you could talk to them. Hey, this is great practice for you. Great practice
Yeah.
for
Thank
a
you for the
talk
practice.
podcast show. Sorry, I hate to. I don't want to leave you. I hate when people do that to me. But I'll be 2 seconds. Yeah, but go
Okay.
ahead and share with them. Yeah. Okay.
All right, and I know she is First Lady T Rail and DJ T Rail will laugh, and they're probably getting tired of hearing this story because they have heard it several times. So earlier in our streams or in doing all that we done, um, DJ T Rail happened to one day uh go into Miss Sexy E stream while we were doing some testing because I was getting her set up, helping her set up for her next stream. He kind of liked the vibe that was there. So he started hanging out with us. Miss Sexy E said, well, you should come check out my husband. He's a good DJ and he's here in Detroit too, because we found out we were all in the Detroit area. And he came to our stream and we started talking on the stream. And he mentioned that obviously he's from Detroit and obviously he was a DJ because he DJ T-Rail. And then he said, I'm also a minister. I almost stopped the stream right there and said, DJ T-Rail, we got a ministry. I've been looking for you. And to this day, we have been thick since that day. Actually, we have been thick as thieves doing everything. And when I say we do everything, we've gotten to the point to where if we need each other in the ministry, I pull more on DJ T Real than he's pulled on me. But if we need each other in the ministry, the other is present so that we can make sure that whatever event we're at goes on well. And there's even an event I had DJ T Rail come to, and it was a funeral. And I said, okay, DJ T Real, I might lose it. I might lose control. I'm telling you this now. You have the authority to tell me how to get out of that situation. You can tell me how to get it, you know, how to how to get around that situation. And as sure as my name is Djtheforce, sure as my name is Harry, we ran across a moment and DJ T Rail looked and said, "You told me that if I saw you going in the wrong direction, I could tell you and you stop instantly." And I looked at him and said, "Yeah, you're going the wrong way." Okay, then I'll stop. So that is kind of our story. And I almost say this brother has really taken the place of the brother that I'm missing,
Oh, that's sweet.
because he
That's
comes
nice.
in and he is full of fire. And if I need him, I just call and he'll say, sorry, DJ T Real. He'll say no at first, but then I'll keep talking. And then she is First Lady T Real and said, "You know, he asked you to be his brother, right? Go on over there and do it."
Oh, wow. Well, that's great. That's oh, she is so funny. She's first lady's like, "What am I, chop liver?" That's so funny.
Hey, that's one of my statements.
And I think your wifey would have liked it. You said earlier when you were hanging out with your brother, you and her, she always thought you were together with both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder what how your wifey felt about that. She probably didn't mind, kind of like
No,
that, having two men by her side.
she loved it. We had similar spirits. So if I needed her protected and I wasn't available, he would do it.
Hmm. So how has that changed your outlook, like with everything you've gone through, losses, and of course, we've all kind of gone through the pandemic in different ways, and with your brother, and just different things that have happened to you over time. Like, how has that kind of affected the direction of your show, and what you see for your show now?
I, I'm gonna say it affected it, but I really can't like put a specific finger on what changed. Um, because I'll say it kind of like this: the experiences that I have went through has enhanced the stream,
Hmm.
but I look at it as a totality of my character, not so much, oh, this event happened in my life, so it's going to change the way I do stuff. I'll kind of give you an example. Well, I'll give you an example, and it's going to, I'll start off by saying, you asked me to go deep,
Hmm.
so I have no filter. I, in last, no, 2 years ago, my sister passed
Oh, wow.
5 minutes before my stream started.
That's crazy.
And everybody in the house froze like, what are you about to do? I hit start and I started my stream. And I went, I just lost my sister. You guys are going to experience the grief with me. You guys are going to go through the motions with me, because I'm not going to stop doing what God has told me to do. At the same time, I'm going to need the support of my community to help me out. As a matter of fact, I had to preach that morning plus my stream.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot.
And the average person said that. It was some people that are chatting said, if that was me, I couldn't have done it. And I said, that's why it was not you. It was me. And to the house heads in that room, that's why my favorite track is Chosen Few, because it actually says words to that effect. People don't go through what you go through because they can't handle what you go through. So I say it affects my stream, but it's not. It's the experience. I need whatever I do. I do. I don't allow events of the world so much stop me from doing what I'm doing, not because I think I'm important and all, or that it needs to be done, but because that's who I am. Because
Mhm.
it may be somebody in that stream who lost their sibling and see me grieving and still continuing on and say, well, if he can do it, I can do it too.
So true. Yeah.
Amen to that, DJ Miss Classy.
Thanks for sharing and that. My condolences too for both your siblings, because that's a lot. And I do feel like people get it when they go through loss, but they don't get it when they haven't
Mhm.
been through loss. And especially if they are a believer or a Christian, it's just kind of like, oh, well, they're in heaven. It's good. Why are you mourning? Why are you crying? But and those comments used to drive me crazy. Or like, oh, you didn't go out
Yes.
with him that long. Why are you holding this for so long? And I'm just like, what kind of statement is that? So I feel like God gave us tear gates. Like he even cried. Actually, I just realized the other day that he actually wept, you know,
Mm-hmm.
when he was on the cross or before, or like asking the Father to take it from him. So I
He,
feel like he allows us to, even though we know they're in heaven, our loved ones, I feel
right.
like he allows us to still grieve, or else there wouldn't be so many scriptures saying he's close to the brokenhearted. Or I don't think he'd give us tears if we weren't supposed to feel anything. I don't know. What do you think about that? Like when you hear different, I don't know if you've ever heard comments like,
He, I've heard comments like that. Hey, DJ Scribble. Um, I'll even say with my brother, when everybody tried to comfort me and say all that was going on and you'll be all right, and kind of said the same thing. He's in heaven now. And I actually looked at him and said, do we sit in the same Bible class? And he
mhm,
said, what? Do we sit in the same Bible class? He said, yeah, we sit in the same Bible class. Do we learn the same stuff? Do we go read the same Bible? And they went, yeah. So why are you telling me something I already know?
hmm,
If you want to help me, and how I tell people at the moment of grief or death, if you want to help somebody, you ask them for their need. Don't try and preach to them something they already know. It makes no sense. It's
it's
like
so
buying
true.
the same shirt again. You already got this shirt. Why did you buy me another one?
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah. I think people do get it, or I used to have friends really relate, like, say if a partner passed away, right? Which was my situation before, but like it was like um, just like, oh, well, I went through a divorce. It's the same thing. I'm like, okay, a divorce is grief, yes, but just comparing it to a death just felt very insensitive. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, the amount of what people say to you, especially people close to you, you think would be in your corner to actually support you, right?
Yes.
But I think Twitch is a beautiful community because, like, I'm sure you've met a lot of people that can relate to your story. And I know I've met at least 10 people that have lost spouses or partners on Twitch that have DM'd me. So that, and more people that, where it's siblings, children, like all kinds of people too in the last couple years. So it's
Mm-hmm.
pretty incredible, like all of us as strangers coming together, and no one would know what you've gone through, your story, unless if you share it, right?
And that's very true. And I was even going to say with that even if a person goes through the exact same situation you go through, they still have no clue of what you feel because they don't know the history behind that relationship. You have a sibling that you were close to, but did your brother do this? Did your brother do that? And I say this particular brother, he's 3 years older than me. When he went through life and experienced something and nobody supported him, he decided that I would not have that same problem. So then and I'll say he didn't go on his senior trip in high school, for an example. So he made it his point to get a job so that I could go to my senior trip in high school because he didn't want me to feel that loss. If you haven't had a person who did stuff like that, you don't know how I feel because you don't know the relationship.
Hmm.
And I'll say it like this, even to this day, I don't feel separated from him. He's just not physically here. And that's the part that if it's going to be a mourning, there's going to be a mourning. But I've never felt a separation from him. We've been together so long and we've done so much together that I know exactly what he's going to say and how he's going to do it. I just miss the fact that he's not here to actually say it or do it himself.
Hmm. So true.
And I
Yeah.
can go down the grief line if you want. And I say that to say that there are people out here who probably experienced certain things. I
Hmm.
also had the depending on how you look at it, fortune or misfortune, to preach my grandson's eulogy for a 33 day old child.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's definitely tough. Wow.
So, and I say all that to say I'm not looking for accolades. I'm not looking
Mhm.
for condolences or nothing like that. I'm saying, hey, we go through these things in life, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We can do it, y'all. We just need to support one another, not dictate and tell people what they need to do, but be in their corner to suggest and help. And I say suggest, not tell, suggest things to help you, because your suggestion may not fit my scenario, and my
So very
suggestion
true.
may not fit your scenario.
Hmm. Yeah, it's very, very true. Wow. So then what keeps you,
I'm sorry, JB.
yeah, let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, no. And I get that for sure. Uh, JB. Yeah, if it's a little too much for people, that's not a problem, you know? Um, yeah, because it can be a bit, you know, but I definitely think it's good to have some of these hard conversations to, make you realize that definitely you're not alone. Like, people are going through different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
As well. Throw up some hearts too for JB Wright as well. And anyone, my heart definitely goes out to anyone that's kind of experienced different things. I think the biggest question I had was why. That was the biggest question in my faith. I must ask a million times, like, why? Like, and I think he allows us to ask those why questions. Um,
And
but
sometimes you'll answer them.
yeah, sometimes he will answer, and sometimes it can be silence too, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what makes you think if you were to talk to someone that doesn't believe, it's like, well, where is your God? Like, when they say the Bible's man-made, or I hear that a lot, or like,
Mm-hmm.
or if God were real, then why do all these bad things happen to good people? Like, why does this happen? That I mean, that was my number one question, at least for that.
You want me
So
to answer it?
yeah, like what would you kind of say to people about, I guess, his grace or his love, or or however way you want to answer that
The
question,
thing that makes things happen in this world is two words: free will. God does not impede on who you are. So if you do things that are inappropriate, he's not going to necessarily intervene and say you can't do that, because then you don't have your free will. So things happen, and then God is dealing and concerned about the spiritual realm, while we are stuck in the physical realm. The
True.
physical realm is something that believe it or not, he's not too concerned with. And I can go real deep and say I can give you examples in the Bible where it looks like God allowed something evil to happen, but he actually said it before it happened. I'm going to allow that to happen because I need this particular event to happen. And without the free will of somebody willing to do it, I can't have it done. Somebody had to be Pharaoh in Egypt.
Mhm.
So it's just unfortunate that Pharaoh was the person, but somebody had to be Pharaoh. Somebody had to decide, I'm going to rebel against God. If nobody rebelled against God, we wouldn't have needed Jesus. We would not have sinned originally.
Yeah, that's true. Wow, that's definitely a good way of looking at things, And I
Mm-hmm.
think all of us go through things to definitely, I mean, our testimonies are powerful to help others, right? like other
Mm-hmm.
people that are sinking or other, and it goes to show it doesn't matter if you're in the church or out, like we all experience trials and
Mm-hmm.
tribulations and hardships, and it's a huge roller coaster ride life. It's never a straight line. I wish I wish I can say it was. I wish I could say believing and having faith was so much more easier. It's definitely not for the weak,
No,
uh,
it's not.
or for a weak person. It really requires a lot of strength to go up against, I think, a big tidal wave, right? Like, the tidal wave, I think, is kind of like the world, right? Like you're pushing at it and you're kind of opposite from it and you're trying to do the right thing or do what he's calling you to do. And it's definitely not, I know people think it's for weak people, but it definitely is not for the weak, you know?
It's
So,
very true. And I want to add to what a prophet said, and you had brought it up,
mhm,
and people don't realize this. It is okay to not be okay. It is okay to even question what God is doing.
mhm,
What's not okay is losing faith.
hmm,
And what I mean by that is I may not understand at that moment why God allows certain events to happen, but did that take away from me having my faith in what God did through me through Christ Jesus?
mhm.
If that has not been affected, it's okay to have that question. He'll answer the question. He'll be, "Okay, if you need the answer, now you may not like the answer, but I'll give you the answer."
So true. I think when we make it there, it's going to be like, I don't know. I think we're going to be totally blown away. You know what I mean? Like, I
Mhm,
know we only see things through kind of like three dimensions, but I think when it's like he's looking at all dimensions. Like you
mhm,
said, he sees things more than physical.
mhm.
Like there's also spiritual round. It's very, very real, right?
And we can't
So,
see that activity that we can only see the physical realm. We can't see all that other activity that's around us, but
yeah.
it's there.
But I think we're gonna be blown away. Like, if you guys ever get a chance, Google near-death experiences. I've kinda researched about 40 to 50 of them, losing so many people, and I mean, some may think they're real, some may not. Like, a lot of them are on YouTube as well, but it's very fascinating, like, how they talk about heaven and seeing different colors they've never seen, and it's like a big family. Like, how we're talking today in this moment, I
Mhm.
wouldn't be surprised if, like, people right now that are connected to you that I've never met and people that I know, like, they've already connected. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like,
they're doing it in the chat right now.
yeah, they're doing, but I'm talking about the ones that have passed away,
Oh,
like
okay.
like,
Yeah.
kind of like in heaven, like, it's like I kinda think it's like a huge family, and they
It
talk
is.
about, like, a lot of cool things that when I've researched people that were dead for, like, 5 to 10 minutes or longer, they are incredible stories, guys. I just feel like you can't make this all up, you know?
No. And I'll go for another example of God's concern about the physical realm.
Mhm.
For you Bible scholars, you hear about how God has laid out heaven, and he sits there and he talks about how the streets are paved with gold, and people get all excited and going, "Oh, that sounds wonderful. That sounds great." To me, it sounds like God uses gold for asphalt.
Mhm. It's true. That is actually, you're right. That
So
you know
that
what?
tells you the value of gold to him.
Yeah, that's like a brilliant way of looking at it. You're right. Because everything that we cherish or see here, we think is so big, like money, power, status. Like it means it's absolutely nothing. It's like so meaningless. And
Mhm,
until you actually see like an open casket and you see someone in their best suit, which I have, right? And you're
mhm.
just staring at that body and you're like, oh man, like this, I just, you're looking at someone that is wearing a gold watch or the best
Mhm,
suit that, they cherished when they're here, right? Or they spent like maybe a
mhm.
year or two trying to get that gold watch. And then it's like they're lifeless, like just like an object. But you know that their soul or their spirit is somewhere else, you know? It just
Mhm.
makes you think it's like, as you come in, you leave. Like as you come in as a baby, you pretty much leave that way if you're able to make it to 100 or make live a long life, right? But
Mm-hmm.
all these things we obtain and cherish and want, and then eventually you see, like, say you're like my grandpa, he made it to 103 recently and passed, but it's like now he's in a small room, but yet he had, like, fought World War II and had all these items and the house and, like, the great job, you know what I mean? Great family, and
Mm-hmm.
then now he's downgraded in just a room with, like, 4 tops. I don't know about anyone else, but it definitely makes you think, about life and what you should cherish and what matters here, and I think that's cool you said that about the gold, like how,
Mm-hmm.
the gold is literally like asphalt to God.
Right.
Yeah.
And DJ T Bass, I see you, brother. I'm glad that I'm saying something that reaches you.
Yeah, for sure. And DJ Big Al 350. Don't worry, I won't scare you tomorrow. Maybe I will a little bit, but I mean, I'm interviewing him tomorrow on my talk show.
Okay.
But this show has really gone a different way. I don't know if you have a few minutes because we're literally at 9 o'clock, and I feel like haven't even gotten into any of your DJ journey or anything. Um, but I really do appreciate you sharing like everything you did today, you know?
Well, I'll say it like this: we don't have to go into my DJing,
Mhm.
but I will say, to go what we said earlier, it is the DJing that got me to this point to have this conversation with this audience. And that's why I say you can't let people stop you from using your talents and your gifts, because God will take it and twist it and make it look something totally different and affect people in a different way. But I would not have been in this venue had I not put those that played that music.
Yeah, for sure. It's so true. Um, yeah, and it's definitely taken a turn today, guys, but I feel like you've really helped me with some of the things that you shared. And I know you've helped probably a lot of people in this chat room with some of the things you've said too. And yeah, and I thank you for opening up. If you guys have any questions, definitely drop them in the chat. If I miss them, just repost them in the chat. I'll be sure to, I'm trying to look through the chat right now. I'll be sure to catch them. And then
Mhm.
DJ Big Al is tomorrow as well. If there was, like, going back to your bucket list, if you had anything you could do in the world in terms of DJing or any grand arena or whatever it is that you felt that you wanted to do, like no holds bar, what would that kind of look like to you as well?
I really don't, and I guess because everything I do, I have a short term, intermediate term, and long term goal. With DJing, I just want, I'm not one who wants to be on stage with thousands of people in front of me. I am happy with having the platform that I have.
Mhm.
My ultimate goal is to make this platform as big as God wants it to be,
Mhm.
and whatever I need to do to get it to that stage, because um and I'll say it kind of like this: with going, and I say, if God sends me somewhere to do it, I'm going to do it.
Mhm.
But the larger the platform, the more responsibility, the more uh, things you have to deal with, that you have to make sure is in place, that you really don't have control over. Where at this level, I can kind of control it. But when
So
you get to
true.
that very large area, you're going to have to depend on people to actually do what they need to do.
Mhm.
And I've come to the realization that not everybody that you come across will be God centered,
Mhm.
but God knows they'll do what you need them to do. And I'll even go as far as, I know and I believe that there are people of ministers that are no more saved than Pharaoh, but they
Mhm.
speak a good word, but they don't believe the words coming out their mouth. But God still uses them to touch people that need to hear the word. And even if the person is not saved, it's through that person God still saved other people, or gave them the understanding or the enlightenment to go, I need to go somewhere else and find out how it really is.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's so true.
right. So my goal is whatever God wants me to do, I'm gonna do. I would love to make this platform blow up. If it happens, it happens. If it does not, it does not. And I will put a plug right there and say, y'all, this is the way my stream runs. So if this is what you like, you can come visit my stream. And I don't care. And I'll say it, I don't care if we're playing music, secular music. Somebody asked me about God, we're going to talk about God. If somebody needs prayer, we will stop and pray for that person. If somebody needs to hear a good word, I will stop and give you a good word if it's what God wants me to do.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's good for sure. And when are you, if you could let them know also the times and the days you're on, like your shows, like what you do as well.
So I do a gospel show, the Gospel Experience, 3 p.m. on Sundays, and that's Eastern time. On Mondays, we have an R&B. I love R&B Raid Train, where we play R&B all day. I stream from 5:30 to 7 p.m. On Thursdays, I do a show. House Tracks is all house music. 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern. On Saturday morning, I start off the Saturday Salvation and Praise Raid Train, and that's all gospel music. Typically on that stream, I will do gospel house.
Okay, nice. So make sure you guys are adding him. You guys, everyone adds Djtheforce. I know his links are going up in my chat as well.
And
And I
Miss
know.
He wants me to say that the Saturday Salvation and Praise Raid Train is her raid train.
Okay, is her Ray trained? What about your
Yes.
daughter? Has your daughter ever been interested in jumping on?
Nope. She's the boss lady. She's the super support.
Oh, she must
So
be like, it's pretty cool. I got 2 parents that are DJs.
right. So if we say we want to do something, she goes out her way to make sure it happens.
Oh, okay, that's nice. Now, I was going to ask, this is off topic, but what do you
Mhm.
really think of DJ Hams's cheesy jokes? What do you really think of them? Because we have that in common. Hams is a moderator of mine, and he's a moderator for you.
Yep.
And I know he's throwing up the jokes in your chat. So what
Yep.
do you
We
really
go back
think
and
of
forth.
Hams?
Right.
Cheesy jokes. I could tell he
That
loves
is
you
my
though.
brother.
Always bigs you up.
Right. That is my brother. And I've said it before. If you like him, you like him. If you don't, you don't. And he does
No,
also
we
mod
like
for Miss
him.
Sexy E. Yes, he does.
Yeah, he's a great
But
mod. He's a great mod.
he is dedicated to you. If he dedicates to you, he's dedicated to you.
Mm-hmm.
And like him or not, he will always be there. And I know you've experienced that. When
Yeah,
you
yeah.
call him and say,
Salute to Hams and all my mods, Clarky Jr., the Skrillixtina. Oh gosh, I know I'm missing a few. Jonah, Mr. Landhouse, like all the mods that have come.
yep.
Definitely Hams is special. You know, he'll
Mhm.
always chat with people regardless. You know, so.
And I'm confident enough to say it takes getting used to him.
Mhm.
Because he has his character, he has his own personality, but once you get past that, he is one of your ride or die people.
Oh yeah, for sure. I agree. Hams reminds me of Steve. Steve's like that in chats. I'm also like that chatty catty in chats. It either works for people or it doesn't. People either love it or they hate it or they want you to leave. So I get it, you know. But
Right.
Hams is, yeah, definitely who he is. And but I just thought I'd throw it out there because he does have a lot of jokes. I'm like, how in the world does this guy come up with? Is he Googling
So
all these jokes or what?
so he looks them up, and I'll say to combat DJ Hams on my stream, I actually built a command into my chat for dad jokes. So when he starts throwing dad jokes and I can't come up with any, I run a command, it pulls a random dad joke, and then I go, that's my comeback.
Oh, actually, that's a good idea. I got to do some commands for my mods. That's a great idea. Oh, I don't want to take away any of your ideas, but that is kind of funny. The
Oh,
dev
take
show
them.
one.
I'll help you build them.
'Cause people are like,
That's what
what?
Club Force does.
Yeah, that's
If you
so
want
funny.
the script that I use to set it up, whisper me the platform that you use for your bot.
And then I'll have my other mods. Well, what about us, Honeyflow? What about me? What about how come you
Well,
got one for hams? How come you got some type of special
well,
thing?
I'll make it, and they just run a command, dad joke. All of them can run it,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
it'll pull a joke. So
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I
right.
was wondering about that. So
Mhm.
you've been on probably is it close to 4 years now? Or is it just past 3 for you? 3
4
years?
years in September.
Wow. Do you see yourself going anywhere else or no, just sticking to this platform?
I am on Mixcloud. I am on Kick. I am on TikTok.
How do you find those other platforms, the green I know I won't really say too much of the name because they may boot you off, but what
No,
about the
we can say it now. The
oh, you
agreed
can?
the
I was gonna
terms and
say green.
conditions say we can say it. We just can't put it in
Promote
print.
it. Oh. Oh. Oh, okay.
Right. So we can't do anything on the screen that says any, so you can't have the logos to all of the different
Oh.
platforms on your stream. You
So when
gotta
you
have
go live, are you going live to those all of those channels at the same time?
typically I'll go to Mixcloud, Kick, and Twitch at the same time.
Oh, wow. And then TikTok you'll do separately?
Yes.
How do you find, that app compared to here? I mean, the algorithms, I feel this gives 0 visibility. You just have to build your community here. But I feel because it doesn't the algorithms, nothing. It doesn't I mean, you get the raids once in a while, but, like, I feel like TikTok is very good with the algorithms. Like, it could spin out of control, right?
Yes.
But you
So
can't have community much. Like, the messages are just it's so fast, like Mixcloud, I feel.
you can have or on TikTok, you can have a community. Your numbers are going to be greatly different than here
Mhm,
because if you've used TikTok, you'll be scrolling. And if you know me and you'll see me, you'll stop and go, oh, wait, that's Forrest. And then go into the stream and then
mhm,
you're there. And I'll say it kind of here. I'll have on Twitch on an average stream, I will have maybe a total of uh maybe 100 people that have looked at the stream.
mhm.
When I go to TikTok, that's 3 to 400 people that has at least looked at the
Yeah.
stream.
Yeah, you never know who's watching like, how
Right.
many you just don't know. It could spiral out of control or it could be low. Like, you really don't not because it's constantly going through people's feeds, right? Even
Mhm.
for a few
So,
seconds.
yep. And then all they got to do is see you. And when they go in and unlike Twitch, when you go into TikTok, you see it. So then now you have however many seconds that they're in the room to say something or do something to make them engage.
I just don't understand why everyone wants to jump on your live. I don't get it. I guess there's some battle thing on TikTok, but like I get a million requests and it just takes away because I try streaming on my phone and through OBS, like my
Mhm,
laptop for Twitch, and it can be a lot because now I have 2 chats open on the side here, like
mhm.
looking at TikTok and looking at Twitch. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. Cause TikTok, it's like boom, 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 people coming in
Yes.
and out and you gotta kinda say their name or grab them before they leave, and that's how
Yep.
they stick, but yeah, I don't know, I don't do you have people coming in with your lives? I don't really get the
Yes.
whole live why do
I
they wanna
know.
come on your live? They've never even watched your show, like, why?
Well,
Why do people
they and DJ Ham said it best. On
Mhm.
TikTok, you don't have to create your community.
Mhm.
You're just in the feed. As soon as you hit the algorithm, people will come. If they stick, they stay, and then your community is set. And I'll even say that DJ Hams is my mod on TikTok.
Oh, wow. Okay,
So
nice.
it
DJ
is
Skrillamack, how you doing?
it's DJ Skrillamack. So that's a Club Force member who's also on TikTok. So he does most streaming on TikTok. Um, so he actually helps me get, and that's the other thing I do like about
Mhm.
that you're on TikTok. When you have people supporting you, they can sit there and blast 100 people that you're streaming, and then it actually goes straight into their feed. They can go look. Where you
Oh,
don't have that ability anymore with Twitch. Back when we started with Twitch, we had that. We had the chat. I forget what it was called, but the chat on the side where we could actually talk to people who were live on Twitch and say, "Hey, come check me out. Hey, come do this." There you go, DJ Ham. You got another person who needs a mod on TikTok.
oh, I gotta figure that out. I wish I could put TikTok on StreamYards because right now we're going to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. It's a lot of work for people that don't think so. Being a social creator or a DJ or a streamer on Twitch, whatever you do as a streamer, when people are
Mhm.
like, that's what kind of work is that? What would you say to them? Because it is a lot of work, social media.
Have a blessed evening, DJ Prophet. I thank you for
Thank
hanging
you.
in with us.
Yeah, thank you for coming through, Prophet. I gotta definitely catch you and all your comments. They're really great. Thank you so much. DJ Miss Classy had some great comments too throughout the show. She
Mhm.
says it's definitely work. Classy, are you on? Do you stream on TikTok a bit here and there too? I gotta catch you. I haven't seen you forever. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually got to meet this past weekend physically.
Oh, nice. Isn't she
She
from
came.
Baltimore? I
She's
keep
from Baltimore. She came up here for the weekend for a
nice.
skating event, and after the skating event, she came and hung at Club Force for the day, and we
Hmm.
got to meet the family. Um,
I
taught
keep
Miss Sexy
insisting
E some
she's
things to do on her controller. Miss Sexy E is kind of feeling like her controller cheated on her with Miss Classy because it worked so well for her.
Oh,
And then
really?
she even went and found music on my hard drive that
Oh,
I didn't even know was there.
jeez. Yeah, Miss Classy is such an amazing DJ
Yes.
as well. I remember first meeting her when I first started, and I keep insisting she's from Atlanta. I keep forgetting she's from Baltimore. I keep insisting.
Mhm.
In my brain, it's like ATL, ATL. And then I'm
Right.
like, oh, yeah,
DJ
shoot.
Miss
She's where.
Classy knows DJ Prophet, just an FYI.
Oh, yeah. Where's Prophet? Oh, where's Prophet
Baltimore.
from? Oh, Baltimore too.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Yeah,
That's
lots
how
of
we met
talented
DJ
DJs.
Prophet through DJ Miss Classy.
Oh, wow. Lots of talented DJs in, Baltimore, you know? Yeah, definitely a lot. Would you say that there's a certain sound in Detroit that you guys love? Like, I know they have go-go in Baltimore and or DC area, like, is there any, like, niche that you guys have in
So
Detroit? Is it
we have
house?
techno.
Oh, techno. Oh.
Yes, we just actually we had our techno movement this past weekend.
Mhm.
Um, Chris underscore 313, who was in the chat, he actually performed at a couple of events there. Um, so we're kind of known for, well, see, technically DJ Skrilla Mac Chicago is known for house. We're known for techno.
Oh, I thought you guys were known for house as well.
We play house music, but it's our niche is techno. And
Oh.
techno is a subgenre of house.
Mhm.
So we'll take house music and we'll tend to blend techno music with it.
Okay, interesting. What is your favorite genres? Like, do you have a favorite genre of music that you dig?
House,
Oh, house. Okay. Like the
yes.
Chicago kinda or soulful house, tropical house, deep house. There's so much.
Soulful house is probably my niche, but I dabble in every genre of house. I will have a stream and go through and mix each different genre of house.
You know what I'm getting into? Latin house. I love that. I like
I'm
Amapiano too. It's a little
I'm
bit
learning it.
Afro beats and New York house, like, fused together. Have you done
Mhm,
Amapiano? I like that too. It's
mhm.
just relaxing. I find house music, Afro beats, like, just, like, very relaxing music, even though it's high BPMs, it just feels, like, relaxing some
I'm
way.
I'm laughing at DJ T Real because he says he is a house head. DJ T Real did not really play house until he met me and DJ Ramal.
Oh, really?
And I laughed because he said, "Man, I can't really get with this house." And then he started playing house, and that became his most popular stream.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you never know, eh? Actually, a lot of house, streams are killing it, like, online. I feel like on Twitch,
Mhm.
house does very, very well. Ham says South African house. JB Wright says Afro beats. T-Rail's laughing, laughing at you or your comments. DJ T Bass says I'm a house music
Yes,
DJ.
I was checking that out. Yes.
Do you guys play much steppers music
Yep.
out there? Yeah, I like that. That's something we don't play in Canada, so I really like the steppers
Right. We
music.
we we have Miss XE was just saying we have places that teach you stepping. So yes, we actually do that. Yes.
Mm. Oh, nice. Yeah, he definitely does have a great voice. He's got a good voice. Hams for like quiet storm hour.
Yep.
Like it's like
Everybody tells me I have that radio voice.
hello.
Yes.
I'm DJ the Force.
DJ T Base, get with me. We have a monthly House Lovers Raid Train. It's generally the last Thursday of the month, and we play house music all day long.
Oh wow. That's nice. Yeah, it's cool.
And
Every city.
DJ Prophet is the caboose every time, and he is Mr. No Sleep. So when he gets in, that's all I can say is
Oh man. Oh, it's funny. Yeah, no, you got a great voice. You should do like quiet storm hour too, you know?
we we
Like
we
mellow.
do. I did my Wednesday stream on TikTok is called the Hump Day Wind Down, and that's what it is.
Oh, okay. On Wednesday, like today you said?
Yep.
Oh,
Wednesday,
shoot.
10 p.m. I'm not going to make it today because we're still here.
Yeah, I was
But
gonna say, shoot, should I be wrapping it up if you want to jump on? Oh man. All right, I
until I said the word Wednesday, I wasn't sure. I forgot today was Wednesday.
because I could have raided right into you. I didn't even know that actually.
Well,
But
there I just do it on TikTok.
oh, yeah, it's too bad. Okay, I see what you mean. Okay, and then also the Sessions 313 radio you're a part of. How long have you been doing that? The Sessions 313 radio?
Well, I had been doing that since like 2016. I actually stopped doing it.
Mhm.
Um, it's still in my bio because that's also the name of my DJ company. It's actually Music Sessions 313 Entertainment, and it
Okay.
actually has different facets, including the radio show. But I keep it up in case I do want to start it, and then I do now stream on some internet radio stations, and if they
Mhm.
allow me to give a specific name to the show, that's the name of the show.
Have you ever been live on the dial? Like I know you do internet radio, but I feel like you'd be like the perfect candidate to be like a VJ on on the radio, like in Detroit.
Mm, I have not done it.
Mm. You got
When
the
I
voice
read,
for
and I'll say it, when I researched it,
it. Mhm.
the way they have us in Michigan is once you go to school and get the training, you
Mhm.
kind of start at the Upper Peninsula
For
as
sure.
far as
Yeah.
work, and
Mhm.
then you have to work your way back down into the more populated areas. So I wasn't really wanting to move out there with a couple of bears and a cow.
No, it's true, it's true. Radio is like a beast in itself. I come from a radio
Mhm,
background, but when I hear a voice, it's like when you hear a good DJ, you probably know. When I hear a voice, like,
mhm.
some people have to go to school for years and obtain they don't have the voice. You don't even need to go to broadcasting school, and you have the voice. Like, you
Yes.
definitely have the voice for radio. So, you never know. Or maybe you should look at, voiceovers. Have you ever thought of that? Like,
I
doing
haven't done
commercials.
voiceovers, but I'm starting to dabble in drops.
Yeah, drops and just, maybe Google, voiceovers, like, my friends do that for commercials or different because you have the voice for it, right? So, yeah, you should definitely look at that. How you doing, Wins? Good to see you, another supporter as well, and you as
Wins.
well too. Good to see
Wins
you.
2000 is like my super duper promoter.
Mhm.
Anytime I have a raid train, I don't have to tell anybody except Wins, and it'll be full within a day.
Oh, that's nice. That's awesome. Yeah, she says, "Yo, Force." I like her. I like those emotes, wins. Yo, Honeyflow. Oh, I gotta do it proper for wins. Yo, Honeyflow.
See, and everybody has their own little wins opening when she comes in, because mine is wins.
Oh man. I like those emotes. Are those your own emotes, wins? I like them. They're nice. They're
I
cute.
think they're DJ
Class 6
Classics
maybe?
Momo.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, because that's a lot of letters to find too, I find. Oh well. So do you guys have any last minute questions for him as well? Drop it in the chat. I don't see any questions. I'm surprised you guys don't have any questions. Do you have anything that would be on like your life bucket list? Like say if you only had a few months, here, is there anything you would want to accomplish or not even just accomplish, like just do in your life here? Anything on your life bucket list?
I will say the opportunity that I would recognize, because I got to recognize it, to where God would put me in front of a very large audience. And I'm not too concerned on how I get there. But when I go to stand up, that's when God says to me, tell them about Christ.
Hmm.
Even though they're here for something else, tell them about Christ. And if you hear the way this interview went, you can hear that would happen.
Yeah, 100%. Because this interview
Yes.
definitely did a U-turn the whole couple hours, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the conversation and just like it was really encouraging to me as well because I don't meet too many people that are like-minded and you know uh, kind of share the same faith and go through those struggles, especially being in entertainment. It's like you either leave or you stay. It's like there's no really any middle ground. But now it's like after 3 or 4 years, we've all developed relationships with people. So it's very hard to just cut off and leave and do maybe something different because you now actually really do care about these people, right?
Mhm.
Like even if
Yes.
they don't even come to your show or whatever the case may be, you actually really do care about them and think about them, and their stories a little bit more. So it's kind of like more personal. And I
Mm,
do feel like he does place us in different unexpected places to be lighthouses, right? It's like when people walk into jail or people
mhm,
walk down Skid Row, that could only be meant for certain people, right? People that
mhm,
dive into human trafficking, like gosh, who wakes up one day and says, "Hey, I want to fight against this?" Probably not too many people, right?
mhm.
So, but I still feel like it is hard though, like because you have so many people with different beliefs surrounding you that
Mhm.
you also have to be surrounded. Like you said, your chat room is surrounding you. You're surrounded by like-minded individuals. That's important too, right?
Right.
But what
And
happens if it's never the platform? Like I'll just say one quick thing.
uh-huh.
Father Damien said to me that really, and he's a Catholic priest on Twitch
I know
that's
Father
a house
Damien.
DJ, which is
Mhm.
insane. And we've become pretty good friends. And I tackle a lot of hard questions at him, like fireball questions at him.
Mhm.
But he'll give me a meal. I'm not Catholic, but I'll go to his church, and I think he secretly thinks he's going to convert me through food, which is working because I like food. But anyways, um, we talked about that whole like platform dream, right? And he said
Mm,
something that made sense to me. He's like, "Honey Flo, what happens if you never get on a platform? Like, say you don't do this whole arena thing or this big thing that you're thinking, like this whole Billy Graham thing or whatever it may be.
mhm.
What happens if it's not for the masses of people? But what happens if you plant the seed in one person
Mhm.
here, right? And then that person that you interviewed or that person you talked to about Christ, like goes off and fulfills the arena dream. Like they're doing Lollapalooza, whatever they're doing. They're doing like massive arena things right now, right? But
Mhm.
then you touch and plant the seed in that one person, but
Mhm.
then you're never going to know that because the audience wasn't there for you. Like the audience was
Mhm.
not there for you on earth. Like everything that you see in your dream did not happen on earth. And he's like, and then you die, and then you get to heaven and you see God and you see that one person you planted the seed in, and that one person was like that Billy Graham that like affected like millions of people in the
Mhm.
world, right? So I was like, whoa, that was so powerful. Like I've never had anyone actually break that down to me that
Mhm.
way. So it kind of humbles you and makes you think that, like, okay, you know how we're taught in this industry, numbers, following, you got
Mhm.
to hustle, you got to strive, you got to do this, you got to do that. Like, it's so exhausting. I'm so
Mhm.
over it. Right. But
Yep.
it becomes harder if you're doing it like I'm doing it full time. So it becomes, you can get caught up in that rabbit hole I have over the past couple years a little bit. Right.
Mhm.
Um, but the way he said it to me is like, even though he's got 200 to 400 people on his show, like every show of his, right? And he's talking about the numbers with me. And I'm like, oh man, like that's great for him. I go, it's
Mhm.
easier for you to say. You're the one who has hundreds of people on your show. But he's like, yes, but you always got to remember it's like that one person, that one soul, that one seed, right? That you're touching. So, what do you think of that? Like, I guess that picture that he said, because I don't know, I thought it was pretty powerful. It kind of humbles you, you
Yep.
know.
I can sum it up, and this is what I tell people. I can sum it up this way. For a Martin Luther King Jr., there had to be a Martin Luther King Sr. Nobody knows nothing about him. But without Martin Luther King Sr., we would not had a Martin Luther King Jr., and we would not have had a civil rights movement here in the US. That's one way to look at it. The other way I look at it is there are, and because you asked me that question and I didn't have an answer, because I'm going to say what I want to say, what I'm about to say here. It may not be for me to do. It may be for my daughter to do. It
Hmm.
may be for my grandson to do. But I'm here to give the foundation so that they can fly and they can strive. And I'll say it that my daughter has excelled in a lot of areas that I failed in. And because I failed, I knew enough to tell her, don't go down this road. And she didn't go down that road, and she blew up.
Hmm. Wow. Yeah, it's amazing. Because you're right, because you do pass it along
Mhm.
generations, right? Like you should, you know? But I think that what he kind of talked about kind of relieves the pressure. It takes the
Mhm.
pressure off of you performing, the pressure of striving, like the pressure of like what we deal with so much in this industry that I couldn't even imagine having even like 10 or 20,000 people, or even some people I've interviewed, they blew up to 12 million people on Facebook,
Mhm.
which is insane, and I'm thinking, why would that person want to come on my show, but
Mhm.
I do know that it was for a purpose why they came on my show, right? But I'm like, wow, they have 12 million people. But when you think about it, I'm like, that must be a lot of pressure, right? Like
Yes.
pressure to perform, pressure, especially after the pandemic, if videos went viral and spiraled out of control, right?
Mhm.
So I want to keep what he said, because it made a lot of sense to me that it's one person. Like, sure, God cares about like the 7 billion people on the planet, but if there was one person that passed away and he had to like actually go to the cross, he would still do that for that one person out of like
Mhm.
7 billion people on the planet. He would
Mhm.
still do it for the one, right? So
Yep.
I don't know, I have to remind myself of that,
Yep.
because that's, I think, what keeps you grounded a little bit more in your
Yep.
faith, you know?
And I'll even add to this to say it this way: out of the billions of people on this planet, there's only one DJ Honeyflow who will do this platform, who will have this show, who will do it at this time and reach these people.
Mhm.
So
Well, definitely with your help. So thank you. I
yes,
appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah. Just hip hop and to you, thank you for coming. I see you as well. Yeah. So, anyways, I thought that was really powerful, and even just you saying that you may pass that to your daughter or people around you,
Hmm.
um, like it may not be, that's very humbling, right? To think. So,
Hmm.
yeah, for sure. Well, I really enjoyed this conversation. I literally feel like I could chop it up like,
Another
I
three.
didn't expect this to go the way it did tonight, but it's actually very refreshing to sit down with someone that kind of, understands or gets it or gets the industry, right? And is
Hmm.
not put in that box, but is doing thing with, doing what you love, which is music too and a message, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm trying to see if you guys have any questions, drop them in. I know we're a little over, but if you do for him, if there's something you just want to know or something you're curious about, or uh, with his journey, DJ journey, or even his faith. Yeah, I mean, he's a preacher too, so uh, you could definitely ask him. DJ T Base says there are days I get discouraged about doing my show, but I have two great friends that support me and encourage me to play and to share my gift. That's amazing. I love that.
And I have found, just to go with what T Base is saying, with me, when I've been discouraged like that, it's that stream that I'll get a hype train. Every stream I want to do, I won't get anything. But I don't want to stream this day, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And that's the one I get a level 3 hype train for the
Hmm.
whole month. Because, and I want to say it's the sacrifice, but it happens that way. And if you don't make yourself available, you miss an opportunity.
For
And
sure.
and I'll say this to everybody, and everybody in the chat will tell you this: the person you hear, the person that you're listening to, is the person like this 24/7. I don't put on any airs for any, uh because this is a platform and there's an audience. Yeah, I'm gonna sing on my next stream. Come on.
Oh, so you do sing? I haven't heard you singing. I mean, oh shoot, we were supposed to hydrate like 9 minutes ago from,
Yeah,
your wifey. I don't know if you have anything.
always.
Sorry about that, I missed that on another laptop. Plugging in things, killing bugs around here,
Right.
jumping on my ring light.
The mods are like scheduled. They know roughly every hour at least there should be a hydrate.
Oh, I never hydrate, but thank you, I appreciate it. I mean, we should as DJs, right?
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Oh, boss lady says, he told you I was his favorite person. Oh man, your family sounds funny. Like it sounds like you guys are very close. I love that.
Yes.
Um,
And I'll segue to say this. She boss lady, I actually like share my life with her. So like I'll write, uh I guess that's closest I'm gonna get to a book. I'll write events that happens in my life, and then I give it to her to read so that she can understand the person that raised her. And I actually did something that when she was born, I wrote down my life events at that point so that I could give it to her as an adult or as a teenager, young adult, so that she can see the person that birthed her versus the person who's standing before her, because we are two different people.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. How old's your daughter, too?
She asked that out loud. She's 30. She'll be 35 this year.
Oh, 35. Oh, wow. You don't look old. You guys don't look old enough to have someone a 35-year-old daughter.
We have a great grandchild.
Wow. Really? Wow.
Yes.
You're saying, wow, crazy. Man.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have 13 grandkids and one great grandkid.
13 grandkids. Whew, wow. Yeah, definitely must keep you busy. Are they all living in Detroit as well?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. So then you guys probably see each other like a lot more
Right.
often.
As DJ Miss Classy, she met most of them.
I think they want you to sing. What do you guys think? Do
No,
you want
they don't want me to
you
sing.
want him to
She is First Lady T-Rail is yelling, "No, you
throw
don't.
some
No,
ones in
you
the chat if
don't."
you want to hear just like one sentence before we leave of him singing. Throw some ones in the chat, guys. If you want, come on, you guys aren't supposed to say no. You're
I
not
told you what
supposed to
she's
be
First
saying
Lady
that.
T-Rail gonna say.
I barely have anyone singing on my show. Come on. Okay. We got some ones. DJ
Alice,
T-Bass throwing
I'm
up
sorry.
ones. Hams
Boss
is throwing up
Lady
some ones.
is Foodie around.
Skrillex is throwing up ones saying, do it. JB Wright has some eyes at you waiting. Miss Classy has some ones. Bass is throwing up more ones. Let's see here. Oh, just hip hop into you. Ooh, even your wifey, Mrs. Sexy E,
Cause she know
is
what I'm
throwing
about
up
to
some
do.
ones. Hmm?
She knows I'm about to do. I asked Boss Lady is, oh, he's getting his hair done. So what I've done with each of my children and grandchildren, they all have a special song that ties them to me.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to sing I'll still do it, but I was going to sing the one that I sing to Boss Lady's son, and it was like it's his calming song. Whenever he gets out of place, I'll sing this song, and now he's 4 now, so he'll start acting up. And I said, "Do you want me to sing this song?" And he'll just go no and stop.
Oh man. Does anyone say you look like someone? Now that I keep looking at you, I'm like, you look like someone, but I can't figure out who it is. Like an actor or some celebrity. Does anyone say you look like someone? Do you ever get anything?
No,
Now that I keep looking at you, I'm like, you look like someone. Who does he look like, guys? Let me know. He's like, no. All right. So do you want to sing like a little line or two? I mean, everyone's waiting. There's a lot of ones in the chat here for you.
I know Sheila is my biggest fan. She is First Lady T-Rail is my biggest fan.
Oh man.
All right, I'll do a little line. I'll do a couple of lines here. Hush, hush. Somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush. Somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do?
Yay.
I'm not acting up. Looking at Boss
Actually,
Lady.
I really enjoyed that. Why are you guys telling him not to sing? He's actually he's got a pretty good voice. I'm surprised. Not saying I didn't think you had a didn't have a great voice, but the way the comments were going, they're like, no, you have a pretty good voice.
Yeah, but when I'm DJing and the song is out of key for me, I'll still
Mhm.
try and sing it so it don't sound as pretty.
I feel like you could do like the old hymns like back in the
Yes,
day, like that sound. Like,
yes.
yeah.
The male quartet sound.
Yes, that's what it is.
Mhm.
You
Yes.
should were you ever a singer at your church too?
I was in the male quartet, part of the mass choir. I actually directed choirs.
Oh my gosh. She's first lady's like, "Baby, you don't know any better." Oh, come on. Yes, I do. What do you mean? I can't believe you guys. I can't believe you guys are like making fun of this man's voice. Like he's got a good voice. Like is it just me? I don't know. Maybe it's coming from Canada. I appreciated his singing. I don't know
Well,
about any of you guys.
and I'll say it like this: I sound great singing that song, but let me sing some Michael Jackson. It don't sound so pretty.
Oh, no? Well, yeah, you gotta kinda know what lane you should be in, you know? You
Yeah,
should do some Barry White stuff too.
oh yes.
Can't get enough of your
Practice what
love,
you preach. Practice what you preach by
baby.
Barry White. I sing in karaoke.
Oh, do you? Oh,
Hmm.
what is it? Practice what you
Practice what you preach by Barry White.
Oh, wow. Oh, Swing Low, that's it. Yeah, that would
Yep.
be great.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home.
Ooh,
And
that's a
DJ
great one.
Ham's Lady Love. Yes, I love singing Lady Love.
She Got Cakes. How you doing? She's from Virginia. Make sure you guys are adding her. She does a really dope show. I just feel like you would get along. I could see you in Virginia, like saying that song. You have a good voice. You really do. I don't know what everyone's talking about in this chat room.
I didn't try
Telling
and
you
sing
not.
Billie Jean. That's what they're talking about.
Okay, try singing something from
Uh-uh.
Billie Jean.
Mm-mm,
Oh,
mm-mm.
come on.
No. see, see, everybody, no. And I have to be, and that's what I
Oh
said.
man.
And what DJ Hams will tell you, and he likes that for that reason. When I get into the vibe of the music, the singing comes out because I'm really feeling the music. I don't care
Squirrely
what I.
Max did. Mrs. Sexy E. Maybe you should sing to your wife at nighttime. It sounds like she really wants to hear a song from you.
I do.
She's
That,
putting no. She's putting no in the chat.
that's one of the things that won her
Good
over
boss
when we
lady.
first started dating.
Oh,
We
really?
would like
Aw.
dance, and I would just sing in her ear, and she's like, "Nobody's ever done that." And I'm like, "Yeah."
See, come on, Mrs. Sexy E. 30 years later, you're not liking the man's voice when he wooed you? He wooed you with a song. What song was it that he got your attention to? Do you remember? 30, what, 2 years ago? Do you remember Mrs. Sexy E? I think Boss Lady, because that's his daughter, guys. She's covering her
Yes.
ears now.
So
Oh,
when you start
man.
going down singing songs, certain songs is going to come up she don't want me to talk about.
Oh, she goes, "Don't ask that." Oh, Boss Lady says, "Don't ask that."
Mhm.
Let's see. So
Well,
that
she said I
mhm.
sung "Wait a While" by Janet Jackson in her ear.
Wait a while, is that 32 years old? Oh, wait. You've been
Yes,
married 32 years? I'm
it's
not
actually
that old.
more like 40 years old. It
Oh
came
my
out in
god, that sounds like
1985.
you're 40 years old. Oh my gosh, I'm getting older. Oh, man, I can't believe Janet's, oh, she says he sang "Wait a While."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can do a repeat. We could have an anniversary since my show is all about aisle 2, restoring the love and finding the love on my show, Agape Love, for everyone. I mean, if you wanna do a rendition now that you have your wifey in here, I mean,
No,
you
she's been in here, but I got to whisper in her ear, DJ Miss Classy, in her ear.
you could
Certain
sing a
things
line.
happen after I do that. I'm just saying.
You could say a line, sing a line to her by Janet Jackson, "Wait a while," you know, if you want. I
I
mean,
won't
there's
do it.
only 25
Jackson
people
voice.
listening and lurking.
She don't want
Oh,
me to do it. She said,
oh, we've been together
don't
for
be sharing her
30
special stuff. Don't be sharing her
she
special stuff with
she
her.
got cakes is like, "Sheesh." Let's see here. Wow, you guys have been together 38 years. So how old were you guys when you met? I'm trying to uh
She was 17. I was 18.
oh wow. And you
I
just
was
approached her? Like,
no. She
oh,
asked that. Miss Sexy laughing. She asked that question. We
she could
actually
always
met.
jump in too. I hear her in the background.
Right. She we met at the actual first internet called the telephone.
Yeah, I was gonna say they had the internet 38 years ago, like the
Yeah, it's
dial-up,
called the
like,
telephone.
oh, the telephone.
We had a mutual friend, and it's gonna sound like I'm a little underhanded, but that's okay. It happens the way it happens. Um, we had a mutual friend, and he was trying to start a relationship with her, and he had a habit of contacting me whenever he had problems with his female friends.
Oh, shoot. So she was dating him?
No,
Oh.
they never got to that point. He was trying to, she didn't want to have nothing to do with it. So the call, they three-way me in for me to like be his advocate. But I was getting ready for finals. I was just about to graduate high school. So I was studying for finals, and they were just bickering, arguing. and I kind of just said, this is not the WWF. I will not be handling this stuff. I'm trying to study for my finals. Y'all gonna have to figure this out on your own, and I'll talk to y'all later. Well, my friend did not have the three-way phone. She did. So when we hung up, she called me back and apologized and then said, hey, do you mind if I talk to you or call you every so often? I'm like, okay. And here we are today.
Oh wow, so she said that to you.
Yes.
Oh, I'm taking notes. I got to take notes on this stuff. A little rusty. Oh no, who we got in the building? You know how I said I was trying to kill an ant that was crawling on my ring light right now, guys? It looks like that ant is back right now. This one, DJ Vance Dell. He's back. Let me see if I can swat him.
TJ Vansdale, what's going on, fam?
Actually, I legit tried killing a bug. It was I don't like bugs. Oh my gosh. They're like all coming out right now. Make sure you guys are adding DJ Vance Dell.
Sorry, DJ Miss Classy. She said you didn't ask us
troublemaker
how we met.
No, I did ask how you met. That's what you're explaining.
No, you asked, so you got the answer. DJ Miss Classy didn't know, and she's like, y'all never told me that story. And then she was like, right, she forgot to tell me that part where she never asked.
That's awesome. 38 years. There. I'm gonna have to come back to you guys, like for advice on some stuff. 38 years. I'll be taking notes. I'll be asking you guys. I'm definitely coming back to you guys. And she's first lady in T-Rail. I'm coming back to them too. They've been married a long time as well.
Yes.
So, but that's good that you guys can stream and do other streams. Isn't there like some point, because you're in so much world like together, don't you ever want to kind of kill each other? Because it's like you could be in the same space or the same room or the same world of doing this,
It happens. It's a fact of life.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Skrill and Max laughing.
And I'll say it like this. And we've had this discussion, and we go, I don't know how you can deal with me, and I can't stand you all the time. And I sometimes go, if I couldn't stand you every moment of my life, I would have never married you. I had to know who you were before we could get married, because if you turned into a different person when we got married, I don't think we would have made it.
Oh, yeah. Well,
but there are moments where I say, okay, go over here and sit down.
Skrill and Max, like, I want to kill my wife. My wife killed me yesterday. What did she kill you with? What did you do to get in the doghouse?
I hope. I said, I hope she did it with kindness.
Throws aisle 2 frozen product. Let me find that bug so I can shove it on his. He's one I would want to kill. This little bugger right here. But yeah, I'll leave that up to people in his life to kill. So yeah, okay. So now he's messing me up with my questions. See, this is what you do. But anyways, so with Twitch, you don't see do you see anything in the future? I know you say that you want to grow. Do you want to become partner or anything if you had that choice? If
the opportunity comes, I'll take it. I'm not going to lie and say anything else.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. Okay. Well, this is really good. I want to thank you for sticking around this long. It's been close to 3 hours, and I hope everyone in the chat really enjoyed the conversation. Definitely went different today, but I'm glad that, you gave us a lot of insight, like with a lot of different things. So I appreciate that, you opening up and, sharing your story as well, too.
Well, anytime. I appreciate you. And I'll kind of say it like this. And a lot of DJs and a lot of streamers don't remember that. But like, I remember your early streams.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't. Yeah, those were
I believe it or not, I have been around you since 2020.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I think I was zoomed in. And now I don't like being zoomed in like at all. Like, I don't know how I was like this close to the camera. Yeah. Things have definitely changed.
So I there's and I say that to say, that I'm a supportive guy whenever I start being a part of somebody's stream or part of their community. May not be there all the time. I may
Hmm.
not say a word, but I've been around.
Oh, well, I
I can name
appreciate
just a
that.
few raid trains you've been in that I've seen.
Hmm. Yeah, I gotta definitely try to make it more to your, like, definitely more to your stream as well. I just kind of look like whoever's on these days because, we've lost so many people. I just
Mhm,
sometimes I'll stream for 6 hours and I'll just do it on my own for myself, right?
mhm.
And then when you're off, you're so exhausted working on content that you just shut off Twitch altogether. So
Yes.
I've been actually pretty horrible at like jumping on shows, guys. I must admit, forgive me. I just really haven't been around. I think I just needed a mental break and just some of the stuff we talked about today. It's like also kind of diving back into what we believe in, or sometimes you just need to rest, right? And you need
Mhm.
to kind of get back to your faith or get back to sometimes you could put social media shows and all this stuff ahead of what your main mission or purpose should really be, right? And sometimes you just
Mhm.
need to rest and reboot. So
Yes.
I definitely, as soon as I jump on a show, I just jump on shows when I feel like it now, but it's like been very rare, in the
And
last
I'll
month
say it,
or 2.
I don't really look for streamers to be in my stream. I do
Mhm.
look for viewers because I know that firsthand. I will have a phenomenal stream, and 5 seconds after that stream is done, I'm in my chair out cold because it took all the energy I had. And the next 3 hours, whoever was playing or whoever's doing, I wasn't in their stream. Nothing personal, but
Mhm.
this is it's a energy draining sometimes experience. So I don't really look for DJs and streamers to be there. I do look for just pure viewers. So
Mhm.
I'll say it in the reverse for you. I charge your head, not your heart.
Yeah. No, that's true, and I definitely agree with you. I'm gonna look for you, but it sounds like you're on a lot. Like, I think it was what, 4 days I counted? You're on a lot.
Yep.
That's a lot of days. Like, you don't ever get burnt out or kind of feel like, "Oh, man, I kinda don't feel like doing this today," like, because I was on, like, almost every day before too, but I just do my talk show now, and if I feel inspired, then I'll jump on. If I don't, then I won't. Yeah.
Well, I do get drained sometimes. I do get tired, and I said it earlier. Those of streams that actually get raid train, the hype trains.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Like, some shows
Mhm.
you may think are, like, your worst show or you're like, "Ah, I don't even feel like being on," and then all of a sudden, that's the show where people are just, like, rating in or
Yep.
supporting, like, it's just
Random
so
person
odd
page. Yep.
how that works, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
So,
I do have those moments.
yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, so he always bugs me, man. He's, like, the worst, seriously. He's like you just wanna, like, pull his ear and twist it, you know?
Yeah.
Actually, I got a great idea. Djtheforce, can you pull out that object that you pulled out earlier on in the show to show what you do? This is what we're gonna do to Vance Dell. I don't know
This
if
is
you
an
could
electric fly swatter.
I don't know if you could turn it on. Does it make a noise?
It only makes a noise or it only reacts when the bug touches the wires and then you'll see them burn.
Oh, man, I would love that, like, his beard getting, like, attached to the fly swatter and getting zapped, like, "zzz, zzz." I would love that. That would be perfect. I wish I had one because this freaking ant scared the heck out this ant was this big, guys. I've never seen an ant this big in my life. They're all coming out, and I was trying to listen to DJ The Force and, like, look at him, and you saw my eyeballs going up and down because I saw when you only have one light on in the building, the bugs
Go
get
straight
attracted to
to it.
that. So
Mhm.
this freaking ant was this big, the size of Vance Dell's head, and it kept walking around my ring light, walking around like this. And I'm trying to listen to him, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, how am I going to kill this thing? I hate bugs. I'm such a city girl. What am I going to do? I've never had this. What happens if it goes on the camera right here? And now if it goes on the camera, it's going to look this big, right?" So I
Mhm.
put my thing on mute and I held my ring light and I started going like this. I don't know if you guys saw it. Earlier on the show, I'm like this, smacking it. And then when he starts talking about something serious again, about an hour later, I see the stupid bug come back out again. And now it's crawling on my couch close to me. So I don't know if you saw me earlier. I start going like this and like going like that. Did you see Djtheforce?
I
Or
didn't see it, but he wanted to listen too.
so I'm a little freaked out right now because it feels like what's that song? The freaks come out at night. Like, I'm not a camper. I'm a city girl. Like, I do not
Mhm.
like bugs for the life of me. Not saying I have like bugs in my place, guys, but like I did see one ant like this big. So that's kind of creepy. So
It
anyway.
sounds like it was a carpenter ant. It's
Oh,
black,
oh,
wasn't it?
yeah. What is that? Oh, you're freaking me out right now on my show. Now I'm looking around. I've never seen that before, but everything has been coming out after the pandemic. Like, I was at a friend's place and she opened up the curtains and she's like, "Oh my gosh, it's the end of the world, Honeyflow. What the heck is that? What the heck is that? We saw this full-blown turkey. Just chill. You guys, we live in the city. It's like seeing a turkey in New York. That doesn't happen. We saw a possum maybe you'd see it in Vance Dell's back country property in Atlanta, but you wouldn't see that here.
You
So
see it in Detroit.
I don't have bugs. I really don't. No, I don't need pest control, guys. It was one bug
Right.
that I
I've
didn't
seen
kill. It
we
came
have
back to
seen
me.
deer, chicken,
Oh, really?
geese, peacocks,
Oh, you have peacock?
beavers,
Like, I've seen a
groundhogs.
skunk, beaver. Yeah, I've seen geese is common in Canada. But to see them all chilling outside, like we're all
Mhm.
chilling on Twitch, that doesn't happen, like, at all. Like, I've never seen a possum in my life. I'm like, "What the heck is that big fat thing? Is that a cat? Like a cat with a rat tail? What is that?" Do you guys have possums?
Mhm.
Oh, you do? Ew.
I've actually heard of a possum beating up a dog.
Oh
The
my
dog
gosh, you
called
guys are freaking
itself
me out.
barking at the possum. The possum looked at him, walked in the backyard. You heard the dog howl 3 times, and then the possum came walking back out.
What? Oh my gosh. Oh, I do not have roaches. Get lost, Vansdale, whatever. You're the only roach I have is usually the one that decides to pop in once in a while on my show, which would be you. Sorry, I shouldn't be saying all this stuff, considering our nice faith-based talk we had the last 3 hours, but it's true. Anyways, okay, so we're gonna see who we could braid into, guys. You know, before I get into it with my bro, Vance Dell, we're going to use the fly swatter on him as
How about
well.
DJ Prophet?
Yeah, I was just looking at that. I was like, oh, he's on. I was going to raid into Blockbuster Music earlier, but I mean, he left. We were on a raid earlier today.
Mhm.
And for all you guys that don't know, please support him. He's got stage 4 cancer. I believe it's pancreatic, and I can share it because he's been very vocal. He was vocal on my show about it. And definitely keep him in your prayers, you guys. Uplift him.
Hey there, Father
Support,
Damien. We were talking about you.
yeah, we were just talking about you, but support his show, Blockbuster Music, guys. He's a really great guy. And we're going to do a fundraiser for him as well. Oh, wait, shoot. Is he live? Oh, I think he
You're
might have.
welcome, DJ Classy.
He might have jumped on. I think he's live again. Oh, you know what? I just see him live. I thought he was going to raid out. I'm seeing a lot of raid messages. Can someone check to see if Blockbuster is on? I would love to definitely raid into DJ Profit too, but I promised him I would raid into him, and now I actually see him live again.
Okay.
But I definitely will catch DJ Profit 100% next time. Is he usually on Wednesdays?
He's on every night.
Okay, so I'm definitely gonna look out for him and catch him and definitely raid into him.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to support Blockbuster, his cause. It's also such a great raid train because it's bringing you back to high school memories. So we
Okay.
had pictures earlier of high school. and we're playing tunes from our years. So mine was, I think, 94 to 96, which I rarely publicize because I want to be younger. But and I think his is the same years. So he's playing right now. So do what you can to let's support him. Let's bless him. It would be super dope if we could start a hype train in his room. I rarely ask for that or those at all. But for him, I definitely want to do my best. He's such a great guy and has blessed others through music and as an inspiration too for anyone at stage 4 cancer really going through it. So let's do that. Father Damien, we talked about you a lot earlier today too, which was great. All right, so I'm going to get Prophet next. Let's see here. If someone could check his show to see if he's rating out or if he's not, because I know it's 10 o'clock. So could someone check Blockbuster's show just to check to see if he's rating out or if he's here, if he's sticking around? Let me know. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like he's still playing. Okay. All right, so let's do that. I'm going to set up the raid right now. Blockbuster music.
All right.
Let's see here. But yeah, Prophet, I will definitely look out. What time is he on if he plays every night? Does he play the same time every night? Maybe I'll do a pop-up and just raid into him.
Around 10-ish each night.
Oh, sheesh. That's late. Okay.
Yeah, so he actually is like he does a late stream, so most of the time, anytime I have a raid train, he's the caboose.
Okay,
even if you don't sign up.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. I'm going to do that to support, and any way I could support you, even with my show, I'll definitely do that and try to make it a point to catch you more too, as well. Yeah,
I appreciate it. I got to do the same for you.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you so much for this dope conversation. It was really, a blessing, I think, for many tonight, including myself. Some of the things you talked about, I thank you so much for that and opening up too.
Well, you're welcome. And I'll say it like that's what I'm here for.
Mm-hmm.
And I recognize that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. All right, guys, we're going to start the raid. Let's do what we can for Blockbuster music. Let's be a blessing to him. Remember, when you're a blessing to others, even if it's like a few dollars, like even if we did it all together, we could really make a blessing and like bless him back, which is the main objective we want to do for others, especially others if some people are down in their health or whatever they're going through. When we're a blessing, it blesses us as well. So let's definitely do that. Make sure you guys add him, follow him. Thank you guys for coming through. Mrs. Sexy E, DJ Hams, let's see, JB Wright, Father Damien, she's First Lady, Vance Dell, Mrs. Classy. Oh my goodness, so many people here. Thank you guys so much. Clarky, Junior, JB Wright, and anyone I missed, DJ T Bass, let's see, Chris B, so many people. So thank you guys for all coming through and being a part of the conversation. It was really great tonight. So I think it's just about rating out. DJ Knowledge. Oh, I just see him. Skrilla Mac. Love the DJ name. And tomorrow I'll be on for my talk show with DJ Al as well, 3:50. So make sure you guys check that out too.
Is it also at 7 p.m.?
Yes, and add Djtheforce, you guys. Make sure everyone adds him. He's on 4 times in a week too. Let's see here.
And we've rated out.
Okay, we rated out. Okay, perfect. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to re-raid. Sometimes it misses people, but let's see here. I'll raid one more time. I don't know why it misses people. Do you know why it does that? I don't know.
No.
Sometimes it does. Shoot.
It does.
Yeah, I don't know why. Okay, thank you again. Make sure you get something to eat, and I hope to have you back on again too. Yeah.
Anytime, Miss. I keep trying to cut Miss Class because I just saw her name again. Anytime, DJ Honeyflow.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, have a great night, and we'll definitely keep in touch soon.
Okie dokie.
Okay. All right. Take care.
All
Bye.
right. Bye bye.